Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. Landon Schmidt producing, coming to you a little bit early, a few minutes early today. We told you.
Another time change?
No time change. We told you a couple days ago with Ole Miss basketball, whenever the game ends, post-game was done, we're going to be coming right there. And, you know, we could have, I guess, played a couple more ads, but why do that when we can talk about the Tigers, their win over Wichita State, the SEC, 42 points. That was the P.J. Haggerty game. So, I mean, it was a fun game. We're going to talk a lot about that. Obviously, SEC tournament going on. Talk a lot about that throughout today's show. Yesterday, the day of the SEC tournament will be remembered for a really long time. What happened yesterday? We'll talk about that throughout the show. A lot of wagering today with all of the games, so plenty to get to. But I mean, you said it, a huge game for P.J. Haggerty and a good win for the Tigers.
Historic. I think we're trying to ascertain. I think the most points ever scored in a postseason game. That includes conference tournaments and, in my best Hootie Johnson voice, you notice that? Tournaments. And NCAA tournaments. I know 32 by Larry Finch against maybe Kansas State, 32 for Mingo Johnson, I know, on a Thursday night in Kansas City against Arkansas. Kendrick, maybe 2 years ago, had a conference tournament game in the 30s. Maybe DeAndre as well. But 42. I don't remember first number in a postseason game with a 4. If I'm wrong, we'll sure find it out. And I know the text line will let me know.
Oh yeah, and we will we'll definitely find that here soon. I'm looking into it to see if we can get those
Brian,
stats.
I would say this. I promise you, I would say this about any team. In fact, I know I've been saying it all week. Win in advance. Yeah. Couple things, and I'm not trying to be the homer optimist here. A couple things that are factual. First game in a week. First game in a week against a team that had already played yesterday. Much better than last time you saw them, and almost the theme of the year. Infinitely better than a year ago on this day.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, last year we were talking. It was actually a day before because it wasn't even the Friday game. Wasn't the quarterfinals, and we were talking about oh my gosh, the Tigers, just lost.
I think same date as last year, but not
really.
Day. It was Thursday, but
wow. Okay, so yeah, I mean, but it was not good, and so now you're talking about a win instead of a loss, and that's always much better.
It is, and we're really going to see. Get the winner of FAU Tulane. Get that tomorrow at 2 Central. That'll be on ESPN2. And after that, I think the work's done. We will see. The win today, that's not going to do anything in the bracketology. No. It's probably not going to do a lot at the net. A loss would have done a lot at both places. Oh, yeah. So that was averted. Tomorrow, almost the same thing. Today, the Tiger net is 48. We talk about they're going to be a good test case. The Tigers on what we think is the extremely wrong side of it, and Gonzaga on the extremely right side of it. We need to remember this because the Tigers may be the worst at-large net team since it's been a go-to for them.
Yeah, I think you're right. It probably will be. I mean, the net is not favorable at all to the Tigers.
Worse than that, not in practicality, not in reality, not as a team. We know they are a good team. Right,
yeah. It's just, I mean, again, it's those analytics and kind of those numbers.
If you want to be that person, and I'm not going to argue with you, I think you're right. Are you concerned that this may be predictive to next week?
Sure.
Running into the best team you've probably seen in victory since Ole Miss, in defeat since Mississippi State.
Sure.
Okay, that may play out. I'm going to worry about all that next week.
Yeah. No point to worry about it right now.
It's hand-to-hand combat right now.
Yeah, no.
I'm not worried about, throwing deep balls.
No.
Let's just run off tackle.
Yeah, and so the wins right now are important for what you're doing, and that's the conference tournament. And so you get a win today, and I'll be honest, I am not as worried about either FAU or Tulane that they will potentially play tomorrow than I was about Wichita State. I mean, Wichita State was the team I wanted to avoid at all costs. I do not have that fear like I did going into today's game about tomorrow's game.
Tigers couldn't have played much worse in the first half, but P.J. Haggerty played well. And then they played as a team a little better in the second half, and he kept it at the same high clip.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing is the Tigers really didn't play that bad in the first half. It was just Wichita State was hitting everything they threw up there.
That's true.
And we talked about it a little bit yesterday.
Defense a little loose.
Sure. And
the whole week off thing.
And part of that was they wanted Wichita State to shoot threes. I mean, I don't know, so I'd have to go look. I think combined 6 made three-pointers in the 2 games that Memphis had seen against Wichita State in the regular season. So I think the game plan was don't let them get to the basket. Don't let the bigs get the ball down low and get our bigs in foul trouble. If they want to take threes, let them shoot. The only problem was they were letting them shoot and they were drilling them, and so that was a big issue in the first half. But ultimately, you're right. I mean, P.J. Haggerty put the team on his back. It got a little scary at the end again. On the way up
Don't
here.
They all?
Every time. Every single time.
Around college basketball, isn't that thematic, though?
Oh, yeah. But
I know if you're betting on it, it's driving you crazy. Sure. If it's driving you that crazy, you might need to stop.
Yes, I think you're right about that. But I was driving up here, and when I left, it was a 10-point game, and I checked the score, halfway through my drive, and it's a 4-point game. I'm going, what in the world happened? And then it was, I don't think you felt too scared in those closing seconds. There was a time where Memphis tried to inbound the ball. Wichita State got a hand on it down 3. They called a foul. Did it go out of bounds? Was it a foul? Who was it a foul on? They originally, I think, were calling it a foul on Wichita State. Then they reversed it, called it on Memphis. Wichita State went up to the line for 2 free throws, and the idea make the first one, miss the second one, try to get your rebound. They missed the first one, and then have to miss the second one, and then it was over from there. But so got a little scary late, but ultimately, a win is a win. We talked about it yesterday, or the day before, certainly, about some of these games around college basketball. There's no such thing as a bad win. It's just you win and you keep on playing. There are such things as bad losses. This would have been a bad loss today for the Tigers.
You just don't want that creeping in your head. It's a little bit like walking up to the pitcher in the dugout during, hey, you got a no-hitter?
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't want a lot of things. You don't need snakes in your head at this time of year. I'm getting it direct from the Tiger broadcast team that it is a record. Yeah. And I know they're not wrong.
No, they definitely know it. So a huge game for P.J. Haggerty. He was awesome.
42 and 40-minute college games.
It was incredible.
That's something. That's approaching, I think, one shy of Jeremiah Martin's school in 43. The record is 48.
Is
Larry
record.
Finch,
So
way back.
It tied 5th for 42. You got 3 guys at 42 points.
And Larry had 48.
Larry had 48. Forrest Arnold had 46. Jeremiah Martin had 43, and then you have several guys at 42.
Larry Finch is 48. Does it have who it was against?
St. Joseph's.
St. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
72-73 season.
It was. And the Tigers started that historic year out kind of slow out of the gate. Lost to Dale Brown's first LSU team. I lost to Texas when they were really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't know they had basketball at Texas. Lost a heartbreaker up at Marquette. I want to say with 2 and 3 at one point.
Wow.
And then got cooking.
Yeah. So I mean, you're definitely in rare air if you're PJ Haggerty up in the 40s. At least 10. Tigers with 40-point games. So how about that? He'll join that. That'd make it at least 11 with him joining with the 42 today. But you need all 42 of them. I mean, you don't have that 42 from PJ today, and it might have gotten a little scary.
He backed up that MVP, didn't he?
He did. Yes, he absolutely did, and was great. And I mean, talk about the way he shot the ball. It wasn't, 42 points on, it's hard to do 42 points on poor shooting, but 16 for 25 from the field, 10 for 11 from the free throw line. He did miss 2 3-pointers. Tigers struggled again from the 3-point line, 3 for 15, 20%. I mentioned it on the other side. Wichita State, 10 for 24 from 3 today. That's 41.7%. Wichita State has not shot the ball that well all season long, but just had it going today. I mean, this is a team that is ranked 340th in 3-point shooting with today's percentage cooked in there. So they are a very poor 3-point shooting team, but they got the shots and they capitalized on those opportunities today to make it a little scary. But really good game for the Tigers. Had a couple guys in foul trouble. You had Musa Cisse foul out of the game with probably about 6 minutes left in the game, and then Colby Rogers fouled out just with a few seconds left. But a really good win for the Tigers.
Bryant, I don't often crack on the refs. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any there. Sure. I think they're trying to do a good job. Yeah. I thought today, especially in the first half, was a little quick whistle one way against the Tigers.
Yeah, it was a little quick.
And I saved that, so when I say it, I think it matters.
I think so, but
if you argue over every ball strike call,
sure,
the ump's not going to listen to you.
Yeah, it was a little quick, and I think I really didn't realize this, that after the Wichita State game in Wichita, it got a little chippy after the game. And I think got a little chippy leading up to today's game. So I think that might have been
some pregame, something?
Maybe a little bit, or at least I think the officials were aware of this is kind of a series that has gotten a little chippy.
Okay, I have no problem with that.
If
they go to both coaches and go, look, there's zero tolerance.
Sure.
I saw tolerance on one side.
Yeah.
Well, I saw zero tolerance policy on one side.
Sure. So I don't, I'm throwing that out there. I don't know if that was part of it or not. I know after the game it got a little chippy today. Between the two teams.
Handshake line?
It was after the handshake line. It was very strange because I thought it was going to happen in the handshake line because you could see.
Was it a former Wichita State player involved?
I don't think so, actually. Okay. It was really the whole team, so I can't tell you yes or no. But it was the guys going through the handshake line. I guess it started some of the guys waving at the fans as they walked toward the handshake line. Handshake line was going. It seemed fine. I noticed that Dane Danger kept turning around looking at somebody from Wichita State. And I couldn't tell who, I couldn't tell what way, but I said, Dane is upset about something. And then after the handshake lines, they gave P.J. Haggerty the Memphis name to go put on the bracket as advancing, and he looks over, and the entire team is over on Wichita State's side, and he runs over there, and you kind of saw the two sides go back and forth a little bit before they were able to separate everybody. So, I don't know, maybe a little chippiness there between the two sides.
Well, they can wave goodbye to Wichita State because they're going home, and with Wichita State's exit, that leaves Dickey's Arena all to Tiger fans.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because that was the only other one that had a pulse.
Yeah, it was, we already knew it was going to be a sleepy environment. It has been every single year. I mentioned it yesterday. It seemed like of the people there today, it was a lot of Memphis. I know Memphis does a really nice job of traveling for road games, but you're right. With Wichita, who's another great fan base that likes to travel to road games, yeah, it's going to be very, very thin the rest of the way, which, good for Memphis. If they've got all those fans there for the weekend, you'll have a little bit of an edge on your side in terms of the crowd.
And a lot of Memphis people and University of Memphis alums in Dallas-Fort Worth area. So the rest of the bracket, I'm with you. I was more worried about Wichita State than FAU or Tulane. That's who the Tigers will face tomorrow. The winner of that game, they'll face tomorrow. Bottom of the bracket for Sunday. Anybody you don't want to run into? Best teams, North Texas, but not worried about running into them.
Yeah, I think you're probably either going to see North Texas or UAB, one of those two teams, and I think it'll probably be a good game. Either way, I know North Texas, the one time you played them was a great game that kind of came down to the end and was another one that you were kind of holding on at the very end. Obviously, UAB, you've beaten them twice. Obviously, on the road was a little closer than the game at home when you really blew them out.
And Tulsa wrecked my 5-star yesterday.
They did. But, hey, shout out to Tulsa. It's 2 wins in a row for a team that did very little winning this season.
And right now, we're here at the end. Everything is being revealed for Tiger fans with a lot of angst about the net, here's what's happened at the end. The Arkansas State loss now was really bad. Mm-hmm. It would have been propped up a lot more with them winning the automatic bid in the Sun Belt. They didn't. Mm-hmm. So that ends up looking bad, losing at home by 13 to a team way down there in the net. Now you can talk, and I have most of the winter of, on the road in a conference. No, you can't lose at Temple. No. Temple ended up being bad.
Bad loss, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you look at those, and it's 3 quad 3 losses, and those are not good at all. And so, you throw in the Wichita State loss as well. Those are just 3 losses that, we can say all we want of. Look, conference losses happen.
It's life on the road.
Losses, it happens.
You have no room for no margin for error.
I mean, that's just the way that this conference is, and the way that the committee looks at losses like that. It's going to ding you every time.
Imagine a home loss.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it would have tanked everything.
Catastrophic.
Oh, it would have been terrible.
Didn't have it, so I have to talk about that.
That's right. So, really good win for the Tigers today. Again, 3-point win over Wichita State, a game where they trailed most all of the first half. It was a tied game at half, but came out in the second half and really looked good. I mean, played their best ball in the second half. Shot 53% from the field. Went 2 for 6 from the 3-point line, and really dominated Wichita State. I thought the 2 biggest things that I think have come up time and time again this season for the Tigers in terms of things that they don't do great are turning the ball over and rebounds. And today they dominated Wichita State on the boards, 42-29 in terms of rebounds, and grabbed 14 offensive rebounds. And they forced a lot of turnovers by Wichita State. Didn't have a ton of turnover. I know they finished with 15, but I thought a pretty good game for the most part. Not turning the ball over, but 417 turnovers, scored 29 points off of those turnovers. So, I thought those 2 were going to be the issues, and today they made them not the issues. So really good for them.
I get somewhere to watch the Tigers at noon and Ole Miss at noon.
Yeah.
And I knew this particular place, not an advertiser, not a sponsor. That was mistake number 1. So I get there, and I'm gonna watch both games. I know they have 2 TVs kind of right in front of you. And I get there, and my theory on it's never been a harder time in TV to find things on TV.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, used to be you go 3, 5, 13, ESPN. So no. Finally got one of the TVs on the Ole Miss Auburn game.
All right.
The other TV gave up on it. Guess what was running on it? It's impossible. Michigan versus Virginia Tech women's game in the Fort Myers Classic final on tape replay from November 30th.
Well,
okay, what did I do to get sent to jail today?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, that is very unlucky.
They couldn't get it. They couldn't figure. If I turn this one, it'll mess up this one.
Yeah.
And nobody knew anything about whether it was YouTube TV or Comcast or whatever, and just okay.
You'll get into that. You're right.
That was my mistake, not going to one of our great advertisers where I know I could have gotten it.
That's a very good point.
So I erred.
Yeah. Hey, you made a mistake, you'll learn from it. That's what life is.
Michigan, Virginia Tech from Fort Myers Classic, November 30th.
Who won?
Why is it Michigan? Michigan won. Michigan. Why is it even running replay?
I have no clue.
What's the relevancy?
Well, I want to know. I mean, what channel was that even on? I mean, it had to have been
I want to say up there like NBC Sportsnet, something or another.
All right.
Does that even exist anymore?
I don't think so, but maybe. I don't know. Maybe one of those channels.
I thought I saw an NBC type logo.
Could have been. I mean,
I don't know.
Wow.
So I'm going, I know this isn't live. So I see Fort Myers. I said, well, that had to be the time of year of the tournaments.
Had to be.
And it was from November 30th.
Love that. How could you get so unlucky today? Not your day.
Living jail.
Your afternoon. We're going to make it your afternoon.
Thank you.
Things can only get better from that.
Already has.
I assume. Well, we've got plenty to talk about today. We're going to talk a whole lot more about the Tigers and their win over Wichita State, and we'll be keeping an eye on this next game and who they could possibly be playing tomorrow afternoon. Talk a whole lot about the SEC, what's going on over there right now, Texas and Tennessee going at it. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Alan Bell from the AB3 and Driving the Line will join us to talk some wagering. We'll get to a lot of these tourney games, get his thoughts on all these games, and even we know how much Alan Bell loves the college baseball. We'll get some college baseball picks with him, especially with SEC conference play getting kicked off today.
And he's already tweeted out, watch the weather all weekend, because you may be betting an over or an under, or probably in this case the over would be more applicable. And a team get out to a big lead after 5 innings, they call it an official game. You ain't hit you over yet.
That's right. So that's a really good point. So we'll get to all of that and definitely get some good nuggets for the weekend weather-wise from Alan Bell. 3:45, we'll get back into the conversation about the Tigers and their win today over Wichita State. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider and CBS Sports. He'll join us. We'll talk a whole lot of wagering with him, get to a bunch more college basketball games, maybe even some NBA games with the Grizzlies in action tonight against the Cleveland Cavaliers. 4:30, Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas in Fort Smith will join us. We'll talk about the Razorbacks and the SEC. We'll have to talk a lot about the Arkansas loss yesterday to Ole Miss, what that means for them now heading into Selection Sunday. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Jason Munns, the Tiger basketball beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. He'll join us live from down in the great state of Texas.
With a big 10-gallon on.
With a big 10-gallon. Hopefully, that would be...
Big Hoss Cartwright hat.
That would be Jason in a big old...
Do you know the Hoss Cartwright reference?
I do.
Bonanza, very good.
Yes,
right?
Bonanza.
Very good.
Okay, yes. I knew it was one of those shows. My dad watches all those shows, but don't ask me which one because I.
Boy and Little Joe would get Hoss in a bunch of fights.
I get all those shows just run together. They're all the same show to me. I mean, you go through all.
Daniel Boone, Rifleman.
That's right. They're all the exact same show. I don't know the difference between any of them, but I think Jason Munns in one of those big old 10 gallons would be a great sight. So we might have to get them to go find one. I know they had PJ Haggerty in one after
looking
the game,
good,
being the player of the game. So we'll talk a lot of Tiger basketball with Jason Munns. As always, he's presented each and every week by Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. We'll talk a lot of Grizzlies there, preview tonight's game and tomorrow night's game with Tony Allen, his jersey getting retired tomorrow night. That will definitely be fun. We also have more coaching news. Iowa, they fired Fran McCaffrey earlier this afternoon, so we'll get to all of that during What's Trending. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. It's their first ever preseason pool, spa, and patio event going on now at Family Leisure. Pools starting at $19.99. Spas from $29.99. Cold plunge and swim spas, they're priced to move. And don't forget about the patio furniture. Patio furniture sets starting at $799. Make sure you stop by today and sign up to register to win either a free pool, spa, or patio set only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Produced by Landon Schmidt. We are Sportstime. He's Bryant. I'm Brett. We're with you until 6 o'clock. And we want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk number. All our guests will appear at the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. Always from our Family Leisure Studios, and always this first hour brought to you by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2025 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but stop by at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500, and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's got to be the Tigers win this afternoon over Wichita State. 83-80, the final score in a game where Tigers, they struggled in the first half, but really, weren't playing terrible. Yes, there were some times where they kind of struggled. 1 for 9 from 3 in that first half, only shooting 38%. Had 6 turnovers, 10 fouls called on them in that first half. It definitely wasn't their best half of the season, and they let Wichita State control most of that first half, but never felt like they were going to be out of it, never felt like Wichita State was going to run away by any means, and eventually Memphis came back and tied the game going into half, and then in the second half, Tigers really dominated, stretched it out to a double-digit lead multiple times, but then Wichita State comes right back and makes it a close one, a 3-point win for the Tigers, and it's a big reason is because of the play of P.J. Haggerty. It was his game. When we remember, 10, 15 years down the road, the P.J. Haggerty game. What was the P.J. Haggerty game? This is certainly going to be one of those that's in conversation. 42 points on 16 for 25 from the field, 10 for 11 from the free throw line. He also had 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals in 38 minutes of action. He was just really, really, really solid. He's exactly what the Tigers needed today because, like we mentioned, a 3-point final score, I would think, if he scored 35, that other 7 points would have came from somebody, but it was nice to see P.J. Haggerty take over the way he did and have the game he did. Dane Danger finished with 18 points and 5 rebounds, but really outside of that, a very quiet day for the rest of the team. I thought Tyrese Hunter knocked down a huge 3 late in the game that really helped the Tigers pull that one away, but you look at some of the other guys, Colby Rogers 0 for 5 from the field, Nicholas Jourdain 0 for 5 from the field, Moussa Cisse fouls out with about 6 or 7 minutes left in the game. He was 0 for 2 from the field, but made 4 free throws. But this was the P.J. Haggerty game.
It was, and that's my top story as well. The Tigers advance in Fort Worth, and I want everybody to just think back a year ago after playing Wichita State in this very tournament, and the feeling that everybody had. A lot of those feelings of, will it ever be a happy day again? Yeah. Will it ever be a fun March again? Well, in the process of a real fun March, beat UAB, beat UTSA, beat South Florida, today beat Wichita State. Going to win the next 2, I think, over the next 2 days in Fort Worth, and then you get to the NCAA tournament. And a year ago, and it's not a new normal, it's not lowering any bar, I kind of resolved to myself for Tiger basketball for a year from now, just be in the tournament, where they're going to be in that tournament.
They are.
After they're in that tournament, whatever happens, I might resolve for this time next year in 26 to go to a Sweet 16.
Absolutely.
But that's not my goal this year. I know it's a lot of people's aspiration, but Penny Hardaway and the Tigers had to have this year, and they've gotten it. It's been a fun year.
It absolutely has.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story of the day was the day in Nashville yesterday. I think it's going to be a day of the SEC tournament that we'll remember for a really
historic
long time.
Wednesday, because there never been more than 2 games.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's already a big day. But yesterday, unbelievable.
Yesterday was incredible. It started with the Ole Miss walk-off win over Arkansas with the Sean Padula made 3 right before time expired. Right after that, the 2 OT win by Texas over Texas A&M. You had Missouri and Mississippi State. That was a pretty good game, but Missouri able to kind of run away with that one at the end. And then the game to end the night last night, Oklahoma and Kentucky. Really good crowd there on hand for Kentucky. I saw the pictures of the Kentucky fans trying to get in before the game. It was just a sea of blue.
They couldn't get people out.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and that was that game was supposed to start last night at 8:30. Scheduled to start at 8:30. Did not start till 9:45. So it was a very late night in Nashville, but a game that Kentucky controlled most of the way, and then Oklahoma able to knock down some shots. Got 2 massive steals in the final seconds of that game to take the lead. Kentucky calls the timeout, and Otega Owe, the former Sooner that played at Oklahoma last year, he goes coast to coast on the inbound. They tried to force him to the sideline, let him turn the corner, kind of was under the basket, had to contort his body a little bit, goes up with his left hand and gets the shot to fall as time expired.
Crushed him twice.
I mean, Otega Owe, I hope you never want to go back to Norman because you will not be welcome.
Welcome to the SEC, OU. Heartbreak against Kentucky is what it's all about.
Brutal, but an incredible day in SEC play yesterday.
My not top story, Grizzlies tonight at the Capitol building of basketball in Memphis, 191 Beale Street at FedEx Forum, with 2 in the West versus 1 in the East. Cleveland cruising into April, May, and beyond basketball, and the Grizzlies scrapping for that 2 seed. 17, the magic number, if you're keeping up with it at home, for the 2 seed. Denver at 42-24, Lakers at 40-24, and those two meet tonight in Denver.
Yeah, they sure do.
So we'll be watching and scoreboard watching.
Yeah, and no LeBron, no Luka, so it's going to be a tough one for the Lakers tonight. That'll do it for top and not top story of the day. I did want to throw this out there. I think we mentioned it, but if we didn't, the 42 points today by P.J. Haggerty, that tied the AAC tournament record with Russ Smith, who had 42 points. That was, you think of Russ Smith, that was a while ago that 42 was hit in an AAC tournament game. So P.J. Haggerty ties that with his 42-point performance today. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we return, we're going to talk some wagering with Alan Bell.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports56 and 98.5 FM. Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for the loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every dollar you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's on Highway 64 in Marlboro, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill. Guns and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Old fence guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, classic arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guarantee lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bar setting for the upcoming gear season. Shop online at ClassicArmsInMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Countertop Parkway behind Parky's Barbecue in Cordova. Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, and now open in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Wally Hatchet serves breakfast all day and Southern comfort food for lunch. Hatchet fans love our huge omelet, breakfast Sammys, scrambles, and chicken and waffles. For lunch, check out the Mississippi pot roast, chicken fried steak, grilled meatloaf are one of our best-selling burgers, lipstick on a cow. Pickup, delivery, and catering are also available. Visit WallyHatchets.com to order online. Wally Hatchets is located at 6439 Summer Avenue and open from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Wally Hatchets. Count your blessings, not your calories.
Get to the FedEx Forum tonight with the Grizzlies taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers at 7 p.m. on Women's Empowerment Night. Also celebrate faith and family with a special post-game conversation with soul surfer Bethany Hamilton. Get your tickets today at Grizzlies.com. Listen each and every Sunday morning at 11 to join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa CPC Church downtown Memphis. This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Good afternoon. It's no secret traffic's been a little bit lighter than normal all week long, especially during the afternoons. That's what's happening right now, but we expect it to pick up here in the next few minutes. On 40 East from Sycamore View Road all the way out past Germantown Parkway. Still positive right now on 240 as you get on to 385. Billmore Parkway going outbound. Weimer's Jewelry, they're conveniently located 7525 Highway 64. They are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our family leisure studios, and joining us now to talk some wagering from the AB3 and driving the line, Alan Bell joins us now. Alan, thanks so much for joining us. Man, up in your neck of the woods, there is some great ball being played. The SEC tournament, what we saw yesterday, what we saw Wednesday, now what we're seeing today with some good games. It's a fun time to be up in Nashville.
Dude, it is, man. First off, appreciate you guys having me back as always. And, the SEC tournament has been awesome, man. Just look at yesterday alone, right? We have Ole Miss who wins with, a second left. Kentucky wins with 0 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
Just wildness, man. And Auburn, Ole Miss gave Auburn all of it today. It's just been fantastic. And hopefully it's a preview of what the NCAA tournament is going to look like. This, man, if it is, we're in for a treat.
And Alan, yesterday you had the double overtime game between the Texas Aggies and the Texas Longhorns. And Bryant and I were just talking about before we brought you on. Oklahoma got the full Kentucky experience last night late, didn't they? Welcome to the SEC. Big Blue's going to break your heart a bunch of times.
Yeah, the Blue Miss got them. Yeah, That's what happens, man. And I was thinking about this. Me and my dad were talking about it. Texas A&M fans have got to hate Texas. They went to the SEC to get away from them and just be done with it. And then here comes the nightmare once again, man. It's got to be tough for them.
Alan, when they made the move into the SEC, their first SEC league football game that year was with Johnny Manziel, and they were in Oxford. The week before, Ole Miss had hosted Texas non-conference, and big crowds for both, fun crowds for both, fan bases both fun, both good people, but very, very different. And the Aggie fans, it was almost like at the Brandenburg Gate when it fell. They were all but saying, freedom, freedom, we're rid of them. And then now they're back with them.
Now the nightmare just comes right back,
That's
man,
right.
and they got to deal with it. I know, it's just got to be brutal because they've just been around them their whole life. And it's how can we just get away, Oh, man, I was thinking about that last night. It's making me laugh.
And when it broke at SEC Media Days, summer of 21, Ross Bjork, a good friend, he was AD at A&M, and when he showed up on Radio Row, I knew something was up, and I said, how your fans going to take that it was a unanimous vote? He goes, they're not taking it very well. you ought to see my email.
Oh, my goodness. You know what? I've never thought about that. In AD's email has got to be the craziest just inbox of all time.
Has to be.
All kinds of stuff coming in.
And
my God.
And Alan, I promise you, and I'm sure you get it over the course of the weekend. I told Bryant, next football season, we might have a segment. I won't give out any names, just what I get on a game day from various fans and people around college football. By Monday, they're normal people. On Saturday, they're crazy maniacs.
Oh, maniacs. Hey, and I'll tell you this. Go ahead and add betting and their money into it.
No kidding.
That's exactly right.
You have a bad day. I went 0-11 on an NFL Sunday, and buddy, I thought I was checking into a mental hospital. It was just left and right coming in.
This basketball on the fly. I was telling a friend of ours that does our noon show here, John Harden, I said, I have so much respect for Vegas to get these lines this close on the fly. Oh, yeah. And Alan, I noticed a thread out there. Everything's on the halves. There's no whole numbers. There's going to be that hook involved in all these conference basketball games.
Yeah, the books are absolutely destroying it in the most, and I mean that positively for them. You're right; they are so market efficient, not only on spreads but totals as well. They really have their game going. It's been tough. I had Arkansas minus 4.5 the other night. They were up by 17 and ended up winning by 4. The totals are coming in right on the line. It's tough out here for bettors. You're exactly right. They are absolutely on top of their game. And you're seeing a lot of bettors now moving to just strictly money line 2-leg parlays, and the bettors will gladly pay the juice just to have something winning because you're right. These spreads and totals, man, the books are on their game.
Are you catching any advantage on in-game stuff?
Yeah. Okay. So number one, the first halves are coming in very under, right? Like we're seeing, especially a team that's playing its first game, because they're kind of getting used to an arena. It's a different, visual when you're shooting. But then, number two, what we're seeing is that whichever team is down somewhat significantly, it feels like almost all of them have made a comeback, right? Like they might not win the game, but they have made it very tight. We've seen that over and over and over. So first half unders have been in play, and quite frankly, day games have been very under. So pay attention to those for sure.
That's definitely something to keep an eye on. Well, let's stick in the SEC and talk about the games that are coming up in Nashville. Right now we've got Texas and UT going on right now. Tennessee up 41-38 at the end of the first half. But later tonight we'll start with the 6 o'clock game, Missouri and Florida. Right now Florida an 8.5-point favorite, the total at 162.5. You like anything in this game?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, going off of what we just said, if you're going to bet Florida first half. And that is nothing negative against Florida, nothing super positive on the other side. But we're just seeing teams that, when they're up, they just clamp down, they're not playing an opponent, they're playing the clock, right? So if you're going to bet, a big spread like that, I would look to the first half. But quite frankly, Florida has been a monster this year. They need to have a good start, to this tournament, just to get the juices going. So I like Florida, but yeah, that's a big number. I would go Florida in the first half. I think it's 5.5, somewhere around there. I definitely put that.
Alan, let me be clear. I know they couldn't, especially over a whole 18 game for 16 teams conference schedule. But if the SEC had sat down last summer before they let the schedules fly and scripted, how can we get 14 teams in that tournament? We've got to thread the needle. Everything they could have plotted it's ended up happening. I guess especially if Texas goes on and beats Tennessee today, then Texas is definitely in, and that would be 14. Incredible to even be talking about 12 or 13, much less 14.
Oh, it's unbelievable. You're exactly right. And Texas, what they're doing, like if they pull that off, which what did you say? It was 41-38.
Yeah, down 3.
Yeah, exactly. Look at Texas, man, right? 14 teams is just absolutely incredible. And it kind of goes, I heard Bill Belichick say this one time. He had a reporter ask him, why are you so good on third down? And he said, I'm not. And the reporter goes, what are you talking about? He goes, you know what? They can't stop me on third down if I don't ever get to third down. He goes, I'm good on first and second down. And that's kind of where the SEC is, right? If it were baseball, they're not facing 2-strike counts. They're getting up, hitting the absolute best pitch, and everything just keeps working for the FCC, man. And a lot of that has to do with money and resources, but it also takes being aggressive and having some luck, man. And they've just added the right teams. 14 teams, if they get that, if Texas gets in, that's incredible, man. That's a massive number.
Yeah. The late game tonight, Kentucky and Alabama. Alabama 7.5-point favorite. The total at 178.5. What do you like here, and why is it the over?
Yeah, exactly right. You're 100% right. It sounds crazy. We talked about it last Friday, right? Just play. I think the over was 188. It finished at 200. You know what I mean? Just go with it. They're just going to go, especially a team like Kentucky. Mark Pope's going to get the boys get out there running. And, Alabama, they can go with anybody at any time. And, they want to, solidify their spot in seeding in the NCAA tournament. I'm with you. Why would you bet anything? It's one of those to where it's you know what? I'm going to bet the over. If it doesn't hit, fine. The price was worth the admission because it just keeps hitting for them over and over and over.
Yeah, it absolutely does. We're talking to Alan Bell. He joins us every Friday to talk some wagering. Let's go over to college baseball. It's the weather. It sounds like it's going to get bad tonight, definitely into tomorrow. A lot of places around the South, especially in the SEC, where SEC conference play gets started. How are you approaching this weekend in some of these cities, towns that could have severe weather this weekend?
Yeah, definitely pay attention to it because it's real, right? So, and I'll tell you how real that it is. We've got number 6 Florida at number 2 Tennessee, in about an hour and a half, and the total is 10.5.
Ooh.
Now, I understand, that Friday starters are going, but 10.5 because the wind is blowing directly in at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. But go look at the Midwest here. All right, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, that area, winds are blowing out. We have West Virginia and Oklahoma State, and the wind is blowing out at 38 miles an hour.
Holy cow.
Yeah, the sports book I saw earlier had the total at 17.5.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, so it is drastically different everywhere that you're at. And all the rain is on the West Coast. It's completely different than what we're used to. But you're right, man. Pay attention to the weather. Tonight, in the Southeast at least, in Mississippi, you're going to see some rain. Here we're going to be all right in Tennessee. You guys might get something over there in Memphis. Mm-hmm. But tomorrow, it could get wild all over the place. So
deluge.
Yeah.
A lot of places. The Ole Miss game tomorrow hadn't been anything announced yet. Moved up today. They lead 7-2 over Arkansas. What was that over-under in the Arkansas-Ole Miss game?
11.5, right?
Wow.
So Ole Miss is up 7-2. That's a great start. Ole Miss is a great baseball team, man. They're solid.
Yeah, they're really solid. Is there anything you like in college baseball tonight?
Yeah, Alabama. Look, Alabama and an over. All right, so Alabama, Texas A&M.
That sounds like basketball. We ask about baseball, Alan.
I know, right? I know. So you've got that wind that's affected Texas as well, and it's blowing directly out down there in College Station. Alabama's putting runs up on everybody. Texas A&M, they haven't been great this start so far, and they've been getting up a ton of runs, but I think that tonight is a good time. Once they see Alabama start hitting, you're like, well, we ain't got no other options than to start swinging. You know what I mean? So you got a total of 11.5 over there. That one's really nice. That's my favorite play. And then, if you look over like Nebraska, UCLA, that two teams that nobody's really talking about, but they're decent. Mm-hmm. And they can definitely score runs. And I think you have a total of like 11 over there. So weirdly enough, you got a lot of humidity in Los Angeles. Play it. It's been working nicely.
Have you ventured down to Broadway this week?
I have, and it's been absolutely bananas. And the best part is what you said earlier, the fact that there's maybe 14 teams that are getting in, so you have a nice mixture of everybody. Mm-hmm. And you know how Nashville is. It's like, all right, let's just go get drinks. You know what I mean? Like, you just got beer everywhere. So it's fantastic.
What's the run-of-the-mill parking place charge this week in and around Broadway? 150?
I've seen some that were 80, and they had a line to get into that one. You know what I mean? That's the tough part is that, parking's just done. In Nashville, like around that lower Broadway area, there's just really nowhere to go because they built so many new buildings and hotels, so... Yeah,
it might be cheaper to rent a hotel, have the valet park it, than get a parking place.
1,000,000%. You're not wrong on that one whatsoever.
That's great. Well, Alan, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy this weekend. Good luck, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Look forward to it, boys. Y'all have a great weekend, man. Thanks.
You too. Good luck, Alan.
Thanks, Alan.
Next week tournament.
Yeah, we're gonna be we'll be right in the middle of all the action, so that will be a ton of fun and just another opportunity to bet on some of these tournament games. You're right, though. We've talked about it a couple of times. The way that we were talking yesterday off air about when could we see a Memphis-Wichita State line after Wichita State ended up beating North Texas, and it was 4:30, 5 o'clock, and they're putting out the line for today's game. Vegas, obviously, with any profession, you have those times where, hey, this is time to lock in, this is go time. This is the time for Vegas where they've got people ready to go with lines. I'm sure they have, projected lines for if we get this matchup, if we get that matchup.
They're really serious about it, aren't they?
It's a very serious business.
$1 billion business.
That's right.
Not for funsies.
No.
Tiger bankroll today.
Yeah.
3 out of 4 of us went with Wichita State. Lone Wolf, Darian, he had the Tigers. He loses, takes him down to 25-30. He risked and lost $100. Connor, the big winner, $200 from 1730 to 1930. You go from 455 to 605. I went from 2380. Small wager, only $45, but I'm at 2425. I now trail Darian by 105.
Oh.
And we'll probably have to get all these off air because we won't have it by 6. We might.
We might.
It'd be close.
Yeah, let's see. Right now, a little update for you in the American Athletic Conference. Florida Atlantic up 32-27 with about 3:30 left in the first half. So we could. I mean, maybe. We'll see what happens. But I'd way rather see Florida Atlantic tomorrow.
Getting close to big-time wagers.
Oh, yeah. It's almost time
especially
to let it
for
all
people
fly.
in third and fourth.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those, you got to walk a tightrope if you're gonna do it, because you lose, and if Tigers are still dancing, then
it's not allowed.
Yeah,
we don't overdraw.
No, we do not overdraw, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. And speaking of Tiger bankroll, speaking of money and Tigers dancing, let me remind you about the Tiger Cash giveaway that will be starting right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 on Monday. As long as the Tigers are alive in the NCAA tournament, we will give away $98.50. See, get it? 98.5. Yeah, you get it. We'll do that each day on either Sports 56 Mornings, Happy Hour, or Sportstime. So make sure you're listening every day as long as the Tigers are still in. I mean, it's always good. We know everyone's already rooting for the Tigers. Kind of gives you more of a reason to root for the Tigers, because every day that they're alive, we'll be giving away $98.50. Make sure you're tuned in all day long. I want to thank our great sponsors that have partnered with us to be able to do this. Mid-South Small Engines, Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold inspector in the Mid-South, Cobb Equipment, and Buster's Butcher and Buster's Liquors. Thank you so much to those great sponsors for helping us out and letting us do this for the listeners. It's going to be a lot of fun starting Monday. But let's go ahead and get to another break, and when we come back, we got to talk more about the Tigers and their win over Wichita State and who they could possibly see tomorrow in the semifinals. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Sis, did you get your W-2 yet?
Yes, I did.
Well, last year when I told you to file early to get your refund quick?
Yes, I remember.
Well, go ahead and call now, and you can get your refund fast.
Thanks. That's why I love you. Always looking out for your little sis.
To get your taxes filed quick and get your refund fast, go to Brenton Tax Service, located in Midtown Memphis on Madison Avenue. We may not be related to you, but at Brenton Tax Service, we protect you like family.
Welcome to Fat Larry's in Bartlett. Come in today for award-winning barbecue and so much more. Catfish, steak burgers, chicken, certified prime Angus beef steaks, along with all the sides, homemade rolls, delicious desserts, beer, and service that is out of this world. Fat Larry's cooks everything made to order just for you. Dine in or order online at fatlarrys.com. We're the best barbecue, Southern cooking, and friendly atmosphere in town. Family owned and proud of it. Fat Larry's, conveniently located at 7537 Highway 70, just west of Appling.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough from everyone home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home in Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
It's putt-putt time. The weather's getting right for a little time outside. Putt-putt Golf and Games Driving Range is a good place to be. At Putt-putt Driving Range, $10 gets you a small bucket of balls, use of the chip and putting greens, and time tracer. Even senior rates available. Putt-putt Golf and Games Driving Range. 5484 Avenue. Putt-putt Driving Range. 901-386-2993. Putt-putt Driving Range. It's putt-putt time.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a mother pheasant plucker, I pluck mother pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Five-Ash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you. Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery instead of dependable service and no long-term contracts. An easy choice. Call Jeff Metis today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363. Now, back to Sports Time. Sports56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Nicholas. Here are your hosts, Let's Talk Sports with Brian Davis.
Well, if you're just now joining us, if you've been away all day living under a rock, I don't know what you've been doing. But if you missed it, Tigers, they got a win in their first conference tournament game.
And thus advanced.
A 3-point win, 83-80 over Wichita State. A game where struggled in the first half, really let Wichita State get out in front, get some confidence, knocking down threes left and right. But it was the second half where the Tigers played much, much, much better. They end up coming from behind, taking the double-digit lead at a couple points in that second half, but ultimately winning the game by 3 points. The P.J. Haggerty game, as it will officially be called from here on out. It was, like you said, a win, and you advance.
42 all-time high-scoring game in Tiger postseason history, a glorious postseason history. And now we'll await the winner of FAU. I'm sorry, FAU. And Tulane not scared of either one of those. I don't know if any people were scared of Wichita State.
I was.
But got that out of our system.
My hand up right now.
Okay.
I was scared. Well,
that's over.
I was nervous.
Won't see them again until next January at the earliest.
Thank the Lord. We got a tied game right here between Florida Atlantic and Tulane. Minute 20 left in the first half, all knotted up at 32. We'll keep you updated on that game, who the Tigers will play tomorrow afternoon. Afternoon game, I believe 2 o'clock game tomorrow afternoon for the semifinals. You get it done. I think another good thing about Memphis playing in the first game, being the number 1 seed. You get it out of the way. Now you're done. That game ended about 2:30 or so. Get off your feet, stay off your feet the rest of the day, and then you don't have to get back out there until 2 o'clock tomorrow when the winner of this game, they're going to be getting done 4:30, 5 o'clock, closer to 6, and that's a little more wear and tear having to turn around on those guys than for the Tigers.
Have you just totally turned off bracketology?
Yeah,
you're waiting until 5 o'clock Sunday.
Pretty much, yeah.
I've hit that point where.
Yeah. I mean, we
RPI, bracketology.
Yeah. I mean, we just kind of know where everyone's at right now. I mean, all that's really mattering right now is these bubble teams, and
they're not keeping a 22-win North Carolina out.
It doesn't feel like, especially now that they've made it
with
to
that
the
history, that committee chair.
It feels like getting that win yesterday and getting to the semifinals. That certainly helped a lot.
You think Duke is trying to camouflage something more serious, telling the truth? What on their superstar?
I don't think so. I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday. I thought it was a really good sign to see him come back out to the bench and be not in a boot, not in anything.
The wheelchair visual was tough.
That with the play itself. I mean, when I saw the play, I go, oh no, that's not good at all. And then certainly the wheelchair was not good. But seeing him return to the bench. without a boot, I go back to Dante Harris, who is still out for the Tigers with an ankle injury. You very quickly, he left the game, and 10 minutes later, he's back around the bench, but he's in a walking boot. And so the fact that he was never in a walking boot yesterday and was kind of out there walking around doing stuff, I thought that was a good sign. Again, I go back to it. I would not play him in the ACC tournament. I would not play him in the first round game. I would wait at the very least till the round of 32, but I don't think there's anything too crazy there. Now, if we had just seen the wheelchair and he never returned back to the bench yesterday, then I would have said, oh yeah, no, this could be something really bad. But I thought that was a good sign yesterday.
The big debate: North Carolina, Texas, who else? Indiana still, are they?
No, there's no way Indiana's in. I think that loss yesterday ended it for Indiana.
Xavier?
I don't think Xavier's in. Do you have Joe Lenardi anywhere? Who does he have as his last four in?
All right, what time was this done? This was done at 11 o'clock today.
Okay, cool.
Last four in: San Diego State, North Carolina, Xavier, Texas, the last one. First four out in order: Boise, Indiana, Colorado State, Dayton.
Oh, this bubble's so bad.
Next four out: Ohio State, UC Irvine, Wake, North Texas.
Maybe Xavier does get in. I don't know.
Maybe so.
But I
last four buys: OU, Arkansas, Vandy, West Virginia. A lot of SEC there.
On SEC there, yeah. I think Texas and North Carolina both find a way in. This bubble again is just not very good at all. But hey, we'll see. Why are we batting it around? We'll find out on Sunday.
We're close.
We are very close. The excitement is definitely there for the selection. So Sunday night. Well, let's get out of here. When we come back, talking some wagering with Bruce Marshall.
Finest through KFA, K4, SDO 87712, MSRP 25320, K5, S53 28285, MSRP 28455, Telluride, SG 596 MSRP 41060, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title and license with approved credit, dealer stock only, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 4/2/25. Hey, I tracked down my buddy Jeff Allen over at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. Hey, what's up, brother?
We're ready to rock over here, Randy. 2025 Kia K4 LXS, $159 a month with class-leading torque and fuel efficiency. 2025 Kia K5 GT Line, $199 a month. And a 2025 Kia Telluride S front-wheel drive with more power, larger cargo area, and more ground clearance than a Nissan Pathfinder. $398 a month. All $49.99 due at signing. 24-month lease.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
That's Gossett Kia South, 2680 Mount Moriah. Online anytime, KiaMountMoriah.com. Hi, fellas. I'm Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. And Christmas and Valentine's Day have come and gone. And at some point, you need to make your favorite lady happy on her anniversary or her birthday, or just because she's special. The Russell Brothers, we've been helping Memphis men for over 40 years do just that. When a gift-giving occasion arises, we're here to help you. Magnificent diamonds and exquisite gemstones are our forte, and you can find them set in stunning range. Beautiful necklaces, shimmering bracelets, and perhaps an elegant pair of earrings. The possibilities are endless, and at Russell Brothers you can always know that if you surprise her and she'd rather have something else, we're happy to exchange or refund your money within 30 days. We know you don't hit a home run every time at bat. Beauty, value, quality, and service are the things that set Russell Brothers apart from other jewelers. Come see us at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. Let us help you say you're the best to that wonderful lady in your life. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins. Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant objective feedback, hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 for you, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-size courts, 3 high school-size courts, and 4 shooting days with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis now in Cordova and Connerville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Get York on the service track in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 912-715-5199.
Wally Hatchet serves breakfast all day and Southern comfort food for lunch. Hatchet fans love our huge omelet, breakfast Sammys, scrambles, and chicken and waffles. For lunch, check out the Mississippi pot roast, chicken fried steak, grilled meatloaf are one of our best-selling burgers, lipstick on a cow. Pickup, delivery, and catering are also available. Visit WallyHatchets.com to order online. Wally Hatchets is located at 6439 Summer Avenue and open from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Wally Hatchets. Count your blessings, not your calories.
Discover your next ride at Gossett Kia on the Pike. You'll find 2025 Kia K4 LXS for less than $5 a day at $159 a month with class-leading torque and fuel efficiency. How about 2025 Kia K5 GT line? We Gossett at $199 a month. 2025 Kia Telluride S with more power, larger cargo bed area, and more ground clearance than Nissan Pathfinder $398 a month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease. Plus every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime. KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
K4 SEO 87712, MSRP 25320, K5 S53 28285, MSRP 28455, Telluride SG 596 MSRP 41060, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title and license with approved credit, dealer stock only, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 4/2/25.
Sports56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We just checked the traffic flow over there on 40 eastbound from Warford, Hollywood, all the way over to White Station as that traffic builds 51 up into Millington. There's been plenty of radar throughout Arkansas this afternoon. We've had several calls. We appreciate it. I-40, all that traffic headed out towards Forest City, again through Arkansas. Be very careful. Hey, if your lawn needs some help, call Lawn Solutions this weekend at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Joining the guys every Friday is college football historian and Vegas legend Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insiders. CBS Sports and his own website, VegasSports.net. For 30 years on Memphis Radio. Sports Time. Bruce Marshall with Brian and
Bruce Marshall joins us now to talk some wagering and a lot to get to with all of the college basketball action underway right now in Nashville. We have a 49-44 game with a little more than 15 minutes left. Tennessee on top of Texas. Bruce, thanks so much for joining us. What have you made of the SEC tournament so far? Good day Wednesday with a full slate of games, and then yesterday, all of the action, just incredible. What have you made of what we've seen out in Nashville?
Yeah, it's been pretty exciting, and that's good. And you've got a crowd there, and I think a few of these, even though, I mean, the purpose of some of these conference tournaments, especially the SEC now, I mean, it's almost like you'd rather see them just play another weekend of regular season. But it can still be good fun. It's a great place to play it in Bridgestone. And it's fun. The ACC's been fun this week. The Big Ten's been sort of fun, even the Big East. On the other end of the spectrum, though, some of these leagues that insist on having their tournaments in big buildings like the Atlantic 10 in D.C. at Cap One Arena when nobody's there. I mean, a crowd of 1,100 in an 18,000-seat arena just doesn't look that good. And the American, I don't, yesterday they weren't filling that thing up in Fort Worth too much either. So, it's generally been good, but I just look at some of these other leagues and why they want to go in these big buildings, play in a smaller place, get a little bit more atmosphere in there. There's nothing worse than playing in a 85% empty big building in an important game.
Bruce, I've even suggested for some of those leagues, including the AAC, maybe certainly that Wednesday 12-13 game in Denton, and maybe even some of yesterday's, move it earlier in the week and keep it on campus, and then tighten it up to about 8 teams getting to a conference tournament site.
Yeah, that might be a way to do it, and I could see them maybe doing that in the future. Although one that used to do it that way was the Mid-American, and they would play first round on campus sites, and that would be the top 4 get a bye all the way to Cleveland. But this year they eliminated that whole first round, so it's just top 8 straight to Cleveland. So that's the way they did it there. But you're right. I mean, some of these, and the MAC's different. The MAC does get decent crowds up there in Cleveland because it's a very compact league, and it's not a long drive for a lot of those fans to get there. But yeah, I mean, the AEC and the A10 are two. A10 especially, I think. I mean, last year Barclays Center, this year in Washington. I mean, nobody shows up. I think there's got to be a better way for them to do it.
Where is a place for the A10 that would be right?
Yeah, I mean, they could. I mean, there's various other things. I wish the A10 would play its tournament at the Palestra in Philadelphia. I mean, that would be talk about an old vibe to it. I mean, it's not the newest place in the world, but man, that would be a historical thing to do so. And it's a more compact, about 8,000 seats. So that's what I'd do if I were the A10.
Really good throng of Memphis Tiger fans in Fort Worth today. But Bruce, you were being way too kind with the crowd yesterday. We have more people in our hallway right now at WHBQ than was in Dickey's Arena yesterday.
I think so. I was watching that UTSA game last night for a little bit, and I didn't see anybody there except for the coaches and the cheerleaders.
Yeah. Anybody out there? No, nobody was there.
No, it was not very good at all. Well, Bruce, let's talk about some of these games. And let's start in the SEC. Right now, we got a really good one going on. But after this one that could be pretty fun, Missouri and Florida. Right now, Florida, an 8.5-point favorite. The total at 162.5. Do you like anything in this one?
No, I don't. And some of these games, and I'll just tell you why. I don't want to just dismiss that one, but I mean, I don't know how either of these sides are going to approach this because they've got Missouri had a game already and beat Mississippi State, and sometimes you play one game here and you win, and that's all you need. You really don't. In Missouri's case, if it goes all the way through 4 games in 4 days, I don't think that would help Dennis Gates' team at all into next week. In fact, it would wear them out a little bit more. Florida at least sets it up tonight. So, I mean, I might lean to Florida a little bit. But these teams that have their bids wrapped up, it is a really dicey thing to look at them, and because you don't know which teams that are going to be in the dance just might not show up. We saw UCLA today just not look like it wanted to be there in the Big Ten against Wisconsin. They, traveling all the way back to Indianapolis, they'd rather get home and wait for their assignment on the weekend than spend 3 days in Indianapolis. So it's a little dicey in that the Missouri game with Florida fits in that category, I think.
Have you seen a team or two you think is really helping themselves for next week, to not just next week or maybe for the next 3 weeks? I have one, I think Michigan State.
Well, Michigan State definitely is, because they're hot and they'll keep it going, and I can see them wanting to keep it going. Nice one over Oregon today. Obviously, Texas, if they can pull this thing out against a Tennessee that's still close in the second half, no team, I think, has helped its big dance cause as much this week as Texas. The Big 12, I am interested in BYU. I keep getting surprised by how good they are. And I didn't think they beat Iowa State yesterday. I thought, okay, this is sort of a semi-enemy territory there in Kansas City. And Iowa State won this event last year, and they looked great against Cincinnati on Wednesday. And darn if BYU didn't beat them. Now, they've got Houston here tonight, but they keep surprising me, and they're just having a lot of fun playing. So I think BYU is a team I'd sort of watch out for. But we know they're going to be in the tournament anyway. So as far as helping themselves this week, Texas helped itself, and Oklahoma, I think, probably sewed up its bid too, I think, except one thing. Every year we say a team wins a game in the conference tournament. Okay, that puts them in at the expense of whom? One team, okay, now they're in. I mean, who's now they're out? And Xavier, we'll see. Also, the bubble could still shrink a little bit. Not too much right now, but the one definitely would be in the American. I mean, Memphis barely got by today. Memphis loses, American becomes a 2-bid league. Right. Possibly the A-10 too, though I'm not as sure that VCU would get a bid as at large as I am Memphis, but it might, and that could become a 2-bid league.
Greg Sankey
for the major
first time
conferences,
ever.
There's no other upsets I see out there. Every team that is left, I think, is going to make the dance.
Greg Sankey for the first time ever pulling for Memphis because it takes the team off that 13 or 14 of his.
Yes, absolutely. That's definitely true, and that's SEC could get 14. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the bubble, I'm looking at Joe Lunardi's bracketology right now, and when you look at his last 4 teams in, he has San Diego State, North Carolina, Xavier, and Texas as the last team in. When you look at those 4 teams, how do you feel in terms of safe, uncomfortable for all 4 of those teams?
I think San Diego State and Xavier are very much up in the air. North Carolina might be. Though I think they should be in. Their deal was they just don't. I guess UCLA was their best non-conference win this year, but they've got a lot of wins, but not a lot of quality wins. San Diego State, I would think, they're living on that Houston win back very early in the season, back in November, and if they get in, that would be the reason why. But they got knocked out in the Mountain West tournament yesterday too. That's the other thing. These conference tournaments results here. Sometimes they don't mean as much in the big picture, and maybe they shouldn't because it's just one game out of 30 or 31. But I can remember 3 years ago when Texas A&M made that run in the SEC tournament all the way to the final of Tennessee, and we were all thinking, all right, that's got buzz in the tournament now. You should get there. And they lost to the Vols, and they did not get in. They went to the NIT instead. So I don't know how they're going to view some of these conference tournaments, and that would, for a team like Xavier lost that game to Marquette the other night, really close. That could have really helped Xavier, but now I think they're really strapped on the line. San Diego State's one of those 4 that Lunardi said, I think really is in some trouble.
Bruce, the coaching firing announcements are coming pretty fast, and it will really pick up over the weekend of teams eliminated because the portal, I think it opens in 10 days, doesn't it, Bryant?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very soon.
So you've got to get a coach in there. Would the unthinkable happen? Somebody that's almost a Bill Frieder type situation, somebody that's in the tournament, not that pleased where they are, take another job and abandon his team before tournament play?
I don't see that happening because of that Frieder example, and I think they'll wait. And unlike football, which doesn't care about the bowl games, at least basketball, there seems to be a little more decorum, and they wait until the season's over. Having guys make lateral sort of moves like that is always possible. One guy, I mentioned UCLA a second ago. I kind of watched Mick Cronin a little bit. I mean, he hasn't been all that thrilled about this whole Big Ten thing with UCLA. He's from the Midwest. Some jobs are opening there. I mean, he would be. You talked last week about dream candidates for Indiana. I mean, Cronin would be one. Brad Stevens would probably be the one who's a real dream, but he ain't coming back from the NBA. But I could see him maybe making a move out of UCLA. But I don't see any guy doing that before the end of the tournament here, before their season is at least done. Because I can't think, Brett, if there's been one since Frieder did that, and certainly not one who was going into the tournament. And that dynamic that year was very odd with Michigan winning the whole thing with Fisher after that. So that's guys. I can't believe Brett. That's 36 years ago now.
36 years ago, Seattle for Michigan. Yeah.
Yep.
Sure is, and a lot was weird around that. Bill Frieder had to know Bo Schembechler really well, and I think he just sailed in there. Hey, coach, you don't mind, but I'm taking the Arizona State job, but we're going to go get them hard in the NCAA tournament. No, you're not. Their first round games were in Atlanta that year. Bo's still mad, cut the budget for the pep band to go, hired a high school band there, put Michigan gear on them, and they played Hail to the Victors all weekend, and they were on their way to winning it all.
Yeah. Bo was the wrong guy to challenge because he was still AD then, and he made he let Frieder know what he thought about it.
Lucky he didn't get a knuckle sandwich from Bo.
I know. Oh, by the way, now Michigan still should not have won that tournament. I thought Seton Hall was kind of robbed. That was a team that should have won a championship that didn't was Seton Hall that year. So 36 years on, can't believe it. That was P.J. Carlesimo's chance.
P.J. that close at Seton Hall. They'll never get that close again.
No, that's right. They should have won that year. The wrong team won the championship that year.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. What do you like tonight in college basketball?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch still going on tonight here, and though Texas is starting to lose contact here with Tennessee, so we'll see how that goes. North Carolina and Duke come up here in an hour. It looks like Cooper Flagg's not going to play. It would be height of irresponsibility to play him, so I cannot see under any circumstance that he would play. And this does keep the door ajar for North Carolina a little bit. You know, that game was pretty close last week until the last 8 minutes or so in Chapel Hill. Then the lid just went on the bucket for the Tar Heels. Now they get Duke and Charlotte without Flag. Duke had a lot of trouble with Georgia Tech yesterday, a team they shouldn't have had trouble with. So I would watch North Carolina there, perhaps, as being one to watch. I'm interested. We mentioned BYU a second ago. They're playing Houston tonight in Kansas City. I mean, they're about a 6.5-point underdog. The way BYU's playing, giving that team points even as good as Houston is, I don't know that I'd want to do that. We mentioned the MAC a second ago. Miami, Ohio, very interesting dog against Kent State tonight at Cleveland, plus 4.5. It's a good team, Miami, Ohio. I would give them a look. The one I'm kind of against here right now is Michigan. Something happened about midway through the season. I think I know what it was. I thought in January, and we might have talked about it, Brett and Bryant back then, I thought Michigan had a chance to run the table this year and really get into the march and go a long way. They're 2-13 against the spread their last 15 games, and I think they've become a little too much dependent on those two bigs, Wolf and Golden, the transfers coming in, and that little screen and roll thing they do. It looks kind of odd with a big guy like Wolf out there playing sort of like a point center. But it's not that smooth. They turn the ball over a lot, and Big Ten teams kind of got keen to that, and they're starting to blitz the screens, and it's just not really working as well for Michigan. Plus, watch all the other players on Michigan, who's Trey Donaldson, the Auburn transfer, for one. I mean, his production has gone way down the last 6 weeks. Something's wrong with Michigan. I think they're going to lose this game to Purdue tonight. Last one's out here. I'm in Florida actually now, but back where I live in Vegas tonight, couple, the Mountain West, rock fights yesterday. Every one of those games went under. Every one of them looked the same. 67-59, 63-52. Boise's playing New Mexico tonight. They played higher scoring games in the regular season. I don't see that tonight. I see that. I told about 147. That's too high, and I think Boise might get them tonight. The total, maybe another under in Utah State late. And one, actually, right, I would have walked to the arena in Henderson to watch this Big West tonight if I were there. Cal Poly is playing UC Irvine, and the thought all year in the Big West is UC Irvine is going to face UCSD. Both of them have a large hopes, too, but that's going to be the final. I don't know. Cal Poly is playing extremely well. I saw them in San Luis Obispo a few weeks ago. They've won 5 in a row. They're scoring about 93 per game. They really get up and down the court, and Irvine better be careful tonight, or Cal Poly is hot and could change the plans of that Big West title game tomorrow night.
And tonight you have Clemson and Louisville in an ACC tournament semifinal game. Louisville with the wild win last night.
That was a wild win, and I almost thought that Stanford guy was fouled right at the end there when he got that errant pass. Sort of, it kind of got knocked out of his hands there. In another circumstance, I mean, all getting called there, and the guy's got a free throw to win the game instead. Pepper and makes the shot. By the way, I think Pat Kelsey is now, I was thinking for a while Byington was my Coach of the Year candidate from Vandy. I'm going to switch over to Pat Kelsey right now because he took over a really, really struggling Louisville from Kenny Payne, and he kind of reinvented these guys in 1 year, and he got his centerpiece in Hepburn, and I think Kelsey actually might be my Coach of the Year.
If you could get in the committee room right now and stay until the bracket is revealed, what would you most want to watch, see, listen to how they do, and what would you suggest they do?
First of all, I am curious to see what they do with the SEC here, and would they actually take 14 teams from the SEC?
Yeah, the 6 and 12 matter going in your league. What Texas wins.
At some point, you think you have a whole season now to prove it, and if you're 12th or 13th in the SEC, why should you be playing for the national title? So, not everybody's Greg Sankey and or an SEC athletic director, so there may be some real pushback in that room, and I would be curious to see that because that would be kind of unprecedented to go 14, although, they might do it. That's what I'd be most interested about. Beyond that, though, just in pre-convening of the selection committee and the whole process, the way the net is calculated and the way they do this stuff now, the quad 1, quad 2 wins, it is so stacked for the SEC and the Big Ten, like they're stacking everything in college sports right now. Yeah, they're only counting really against in league. If you lose a game, it doesn't seem to hurt you. Wins help, and if you've got a rating system where you rate all those teams at the top, and you're counting wins over the higher rated teams in quad 1, I know there's a home road neutral thing there, but there's an enormous edge that I could. But I'm not sure that's going to change though, because this is the power leagues are kind of controlling everything. One other note: they got another tournament coming up this year. They call it the Crown. They're going to have it in Las Vegas, a rival of the NIT. And this is really orchestrated by the SEC and the Big Ten, and I believe Fox is going to be televising it. This is the first salvo here, the first warning shot of these big leagues to the NC2A. We could run one of these tournaments ourselves, do what we ask. So I think there's a threat in there to the NC2A and its whole existence that these big schools, I mean, they don't need the NC2A to do this. And if there's a legal way for them to get out of it at some point in the future, this is sort of a test case with this new tournament they got in Vegas, rivaling the NIT.
You just made news to me, Bruce. I did not know about the Crown.
Crown.
Will they try to take teams from the NIT that's NCAA controlled?
Yeah,
and will they pay them?
They're supposed to, but I don't know who's going to be left from the SEC unless they take LSU and South Carolina. But that's the thought. Remember, the NC2A owns the NIT now. So This is supposed to be an assault, and the NIT sort of made a move saying they're not guaranteeing spots to all the conference winners. That's in the low majors and mid majors who don't win their conference tournaments. That's out now, so they want to get, they're not guaranteeing spots to the smaller leagues. This is all a fight that's going to continue the next few years. I'd keep an eye on that as a sort of a sidebar story.
Ironic you said LSU, and that was the farthest Pete Maravich ever advanced in a postseason was in an NIT.
1970, yeah. Remember they were on national TV when CBS used to put those NIT games on way back long ago. Don Cook calling the game.
Bruce, before we let you go, anything you like in the NBA tonight? I know the Grizzlies and the Cavs, a lot of people here excited about that one. Do you like anything in that game or anything in the association tonight?
Yeah, I steered a little clear of that because maybe this is the night the Cavs win streak ends. I mean, Memphis almost got them a few weeks ago. I thought that number was kind of tight. The Celtics tonight at Miami, games with Miami this year, almost exact same score. 103-85. Both games have gone under. You've got Boston, awful loss. Miami, since all the Jimmy B stuff, I mean, they are not a contender anymore. They may make the play-in round in the East because the bottom of the East is so bad. But this number tonight, about 8, about 215 or so in the total. I think Boston and under, it has been that way between these two this year, and I might look both of those tonight down in Miami.
I like it. Bruce, where can we find more of you?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Check me out online at the old spots, VegasInsider.com, CBS Sportsline, Sportsline.com. I got all the picks up there for all these games, plus the picks with a different twist. Package them a bit differently at winnersandwhiners.com and picksandparlays.com.
Bruce, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy this week, and we'll do it again next Friday.
Okay, have fun, boys. Thank you.
Good luck, Bruce. Good luck to Bruce Marshall with us every Friday talking the games. Yeah. Pete Maravich, at the farthest he went, that's when everybody went to the Garden. Yeah. Now, I had to look it up. I did not remember all these teams. I remembered the last two. Beat Georgetown.
Okay.
That was pre-John Thompson.
Of course.
Beat Oklahoma. Lost in the semis to Marquette with Dean the Dream Memminger.
Wow. Good name.
And then in the consolation game, lost to Army. Krzyzewski may have been on that team. Might have been gone a year before.
Wow. All right. Didn't know about the Crown, though.
Did not know about the Crown.
The Crown.
Breaking news.
I had to bring that up today with John earlier today, he goes, because we don't have the NIT anymore, do we?
Was he as flabbergasted?
He was, because he thought we didn't have the NIT anymore. So I go, no, John, not only do we still have the NIT, we're getting an extra tournament. And I believe, Bruce was talking about this them pushing against the NCAA. I also think it's Fox pushing against ESPN because the priority for teams is going to come from the Big Ten and the Big Ten and the Big East, and then the Big 12, and then at larges. So
only people gambling will watch.
Oh, I'll watch every game. I'll also be gambling on it, I'm sure. So
all of it in Vegas?
Yes, all of it in Vegas. It's only like a week long, so it's not very long. I saw the dates earlier today, but it's very short.
Appearance fee money?
I didn't get to that. I was reading the press release, so I didn't have anything about money. But I'm sure.
Well, a good way to lose all the money back in Vegas.
Yeah, if you're gonna get these teams to want to go there, you got to add something to it. So I would hope that there is something there. But I guess we'll see here in a couple weeks. I think it's gonna blow a lot of people away because when it came out, it was kind of one of those like
weeknight games,
middle of summer. Yeah, no, it's gonna be I think like a full week of action leading up to their championship game. I don't know how many teams are going. I think 16 teams in this tournament. So it'll probably be, maybe a night off between or something like that. So it'll be fun.
Bobby Knight, coach for that Army team. Krzyzewski gone the year before.
Wow.
Did not play Pistol Pete.
Wow, that's...
But Bobby Knight, the coach.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Can you imagine being at West Point and the regimen, the discipline, the stuff you go through all day from 7 to 3:30, and you get to basketball practice, and it's a 25-year-old Bobby Knight as the coach?
No, thank you.
Phew.
No, thank you.
Bet he was in some great moods.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he's fired up every day for practice. But let's go ahead and get to a break. And when we come back, we got to talk some SEC. Right now, Tennessee pulling away. They're up 11 with about 8:45 left in the game. We're going to talk SEC. We're also going to talk the Razorbacks with Ty Richardson.
Start your day with Sports 56 mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You're hungry for good meat? Trust the family that has been feeding you since 1967. Charlie Hogan, Triangle Meat Company. Trust Triangle Meat for fresh beef, hamburger, and roast. Trust Triangle Meat for delicious pork ribs, chops, and butter. And trust Triangle Meat for tender chicken, roll bun, 80 bucks a month. Triangle Meat Company has all the meat you need. Shop Triangle Meat Company. Monday through Saturday, 4790 Summer Avenue, 901-683-1192. Fresh or frozen, big or small, trust Triangle Meat Company.
All aboard, football fans! The Memphis Showboats are back in action with more of the football you love. Join the Showboats at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium March 30th for the opening weekend of the 2025 UFL season as the Boats take on the Michigan Panthers. Kickoff is 11 a.m. Head to UFLShowboats.com now to get your tickets and get more of the touchdown celebrating, high-fiving, bell-ringing action you love. That's UFLShowboats.com. Go Boats!
Discover your next ride at Gossett Kia on the Pike. You'll find 2025 Kia K4 LXS for less than $5 a day at $159 a month with class-leading torque and fuel efficiency. How about 2025 Kia K5 GT line? We Gossett at $199 a month. 2025 Kia Telluride S with more power, larger cargo bed area, and more ground clearance than Nissan Pathfinder $398 a month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease. Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime. KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
K4 SEO 87712, MSRP 25320, K5 S53 28285, MSRP 28455, Telluride SG 596204, MSRP 41060, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title and license with approved credit, dealer stock only, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 4/2/25.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? We have it covered at Humdinger. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. Many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Come on,
Traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's running slow right now. 240 west, just past Middle Branch as you approach 55. We got an oversized load problem there where the truck can't make the turn. And it's got traffic backed up on 240 westbound at Middle Branch as traffic builds going eastbound in that area, headed on out to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Time to talk Razorbacks on Sportstime. Joining the guys is Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas to talk all things Hogs and SEC. On Twitter X at Ty Sports Radio, here's Ty Richardson with Bryant and Brett.
Come on, all you Razorback fans, let's stand up and call those Hogs!
Ty Richardson joins us now from ESPN Arkansas in Fort Smith. Talk the Razorbacks and the SEC. It was only one game, but it was, or excuse me, two games, and it was two fun ones for Arkansas. It ended with the game against Ole Miss, one that was, I mean, one of the better games of the tournament. I'm sure we'll get a lot of really good ones in this type of tournament, but it was a really good one. Came down to the very end. Sean Padula drills the three to win the game. What was your reaction to the two games that Arkansas played in the SEC tournament?
And remember, we're AM radio.
Yeah, hey, guys. First one was you thought they were going to choke it away. Second one, just pain. Marshall Henderson cheering from the sidelines. Padula hadn't hit a shot all game. Then he bangs in. That three goes 1 for 7. Trevor Brazile misses those two free throws with a chance to give you a lead. Just and you can't call it a collapse because they came all the way back. But, guys, Arkansas should have had had every chance to win that game and just
you're right.
Gave it away at the end. But Ole Miss took it, and you got to give Chris Beard and company credit for that.
And Cal and free throw shooting. We know it oh so well here, Ty. And Ty, I want to say this delicately because of our friendship, but Arkansas fans got a taste of Cal in those March close games yesterday.
Yeah, and I'm still wondering. I mean, is it going to be 5 years after next weekend with one NCAA tournament win, or will we get at least one or two? That remains to be seen. But yeah, there's been a lot. I mean, you look at what Cal had success his initial 6-7 years in Kentucky, and then the back half. It's 9 day difference. I mean, there's still the regular season success is similar, but the postseason is just so different. And like you said, Stats. I mean, sometimes as good as talent Cal has on campus and has on his roster, whether it's in Memphis, Lexington, or here in Fayetteville, it just doesn't always pan out. And the injuries have obviously derailed their season, but they've still found a way to the tournament, and we'll see what they can do after this.
Yeah. Going back to the first game for Arkansas against South Carolina, I mean, that second half and what happened where, it was all South Carolina with a big lead. Arkansas got their revenge for what the first half was at South Carolina in the regular season. I mean, a really good first half for them, 47 points. They were up 17 at half, but then that second half, you only score 25 points, and it got really scary down the stretch. What did you make of that second half for the Razorbacks?
Second half, it was just you couldn't buy a bucket. So I think it was 8 minutes without a point and 12 minutes without a field goal, which, I mean, to win a college basketball game with a dry spell like that is unheard of. Yet South Carolina, I mean, they're not that great offensively either, so it ended up not being the worst thing in the world. Regardless, that happens for this team this year, and that's what I think is so different from Cal's team in the past. And not that they wouldn't go scoreless from time to time, but this team just it goes into brick mode. It's unbelievable. I mean, you could throw three of us out there and we'd make more shots at times than these guys. But again, they play good defense. They've made plays and to at least be in games. I mean, they had 3 blowout losses in the SEC: Tennessee, Missouri, and South Carolina. The other 15 games they were competitive. Now they didn't always win them, but they at least kept you in it. So, but like Stats alluded to, sometimes I'd say sometimes, a lot of times lately it hadn't gone right for Cal in March, and he's just hoping to turn the corner. And we'll see if Boogie Flanner or Deuce Hero has any chance of coming back if they advance past the first weekend.
How much did the Kentucky fans in the building and around town enjoy it? Because they were really on him the whole game.
Oh, great. That's a great point. So we're doing this TV spot after the game, and it was one of those things where one of my friends has been Red. He works for the Razorback, or Pig Trail Nation, the NBC affiliate in Fayetteville. And every Kentucky fan that passed by made sure to say something. and it was just, he's just trying to do his job and everything. I'm just laughing because some of the things that are being said. And no, it wasn't just Kentucky fans. It was other fans as well. But everyone seemed to get their shot against Arkansas and Coach Cal right now.
I'll repeat what I said yesterday. Bryant can attest that I said it. There's no world that Mark Pope's a better basketball coach than John Calipari.
Yeah, I mean, they almost choked away their game.
Sure did.
It was very similar to the South Carolina game, except they kept turning the ball over. Arkansas just couldn't make a shot. But I mean, that final sequence to be up, I think they were up as much as 9, like at the last minute and a half or so, and then Oklahoma takes the lead with less than 15 seconds left. Jeremiah Fears makes an unbelievable left-hand layup, but then OA did what he I think did earlier that season, beat Oklahoma. So a big win, and I know Pope's dealt with injuries just like Cal has. That's part of the SEC. And Kentucky fans, I'm going to be honest, doesn't matter if you're first year, doesn't matter if you're 10th year. They don't really care about excuses or things that affect your season. They just want to see results. And curious to see, again, what happens for them in postseason.
Who do you want to be right? Jerry Palm, 10-seed Arkansas, playing BYU in Lexington, or Joe Lunardi, 11-seed Arkansas, playing 6-seed Michigan in Milwaukee?
I would take the Milwaukee. I know
too.
I know some people want to see Arkansas and Lexington, so they play like they did earlier this season. I just don't know if you want that for your team. You can go away.
That's a lot of smoke.
I just don't think you want it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Cal and company would embrace that. I think there's better options for this team to go elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about it a little bit, Brett and I have. Billy Richmond, he has given Arkansas some really good minutes, especially with those injuries that you mentioned a few minutes ago, kind of stepping up, being kind of that spark plug off the bench. You look at his stats, he's not going to blow you away with his numbers. Did have 15 points against Ole Miss, but averaging only 5.6 points per game this season. But he's given Arkansas a nice little spark, especially down the stretch this season.
Yeah, he has. Memphis home, baby.
Yep.
I know Memphis fans excited to see him have success and everything else that he's been to this team. Like the word spark plug that you just used, Brian, is very accurate. Billy is a guy that comes off the bench and he just plays his tail off. He's going to make some mistakes. They call him the road runner from time to time because he's out of control. But you're never mad at Billy because it's effort. Like, you can live with a true freshman that's going to give 110% like he does every game. What you can't live with is someone being lackadaisical or not caring, or at least not giving the appearance that they do. And he's never shown that once this season. He's got plenty of other things to correct. But the other thing that's been kind of peculiar about him, he's made his only 2 3-pointers of the season in the last 2 games against Ole Miss and South Carolina. So maybe he feels a lot more confident in his shot. We'll see if that pans out for this team in postseason.
Yeah. Do you think Texas is in the NCAA tournament, and should they be?
Man, I mean, that Texas A&M one was big for Coach Terry. Their resume, you'd have to refresh me what they did in non-conference, because I think we get so caught up in what teams do in conference play just because it's what we've seen lately.
Yeah.
I know Oklahoma either got to the finals of the tournament or won something, maybe the Bahamas, but I really don't remember what Texas did non-conference-wise, to be honest.
It was good, but it didn't stand out.
It wasn't much. I think best win non-conference, Syracuse?
They were very poor.
Yeah, Syracuse is not a very good team. Lost to UConn. But yeah, nothing that really jumps off the page.
And it had to fall off, but this was not vintage UConn this year.
No, certainly not.
Little different UConn team.
Yeah.
No question about that.
And Texas lost to Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was first game of the season.
Not much.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so I guess their non-conference isn't as good as Oklahoma, to another team that's getting battling for the NCAA tournament too. Sunday's going to be interesting, guys. I'm really curious how many SEC teams lines up in the NCAA tournament.
Where will Arkansas watch the the bracket reveal, or will it?
Will
you have a media availability?
Yeah, that's one of the things stats I actually asked Cal in the post game. I was like, Coach, I know your singular focus has been on Ole Miss, but if you thought anything about something at your house or on campus, and he basically it was very broad, but it's like, yeah, we'll put something together. So, I mean, I think with Arkansas knowing they're going to the tournament, I know what Cal said, like he's not in the room, but they're a tournament team. So I think it's just a matter of where. I think they'll do something on campus, to be honest, stats, if I had to guess. But, I mean, I've been wrong plenty of times, so maybe I'm wrong here too.
Were you still in the room when the New Orleans TV reporter asked Chris Beard, and I'm paraphrasing, somebody like you to pull that kind of upset over John Calipari? Were you in the room?
Brett, I was maybe 15 feet from him, and I he wasn't doing that like from a mean intent or anything, but the way he worded that was so degrading towards a guy that has won in every level of basketball he's been in. I mean, he took Texas Tech to a national championship. I know Texas had success while he was there. You think about what he's doing with Ole Miss in just year 2. He's a good basketball coach. Again, I don't think there was ill will from that guy to ask the question. But my gosh, and Beard, I thought he was about to rip him a new one, and he kind of did, and then he backed off a little bit. I don't know. There was Stats, you obviously know this because you know Ole Miss. There was a woman in front of me and a kid that was in Ole Miss stuff. I was assuming that was his wife and his son, but I didn't know for sure. But that it was just, I thought it was like, okay, you just lit a coach on fire, but he pulled the reins a little bit.
Well, I know of, I don't know him, but I know of the New Orleans reporter. I'm not going to call his name, but I know of him, and through friends socially in New Orleans. He's a big LSU guy and kind of the old school LSU Ole Miss hate. And in New Orleans, and this is heresy because Archie Manning is as big of idol in New Orleans as he is in Oxford, and Drew in the state of Mississippi is just beloved. But this guy detests the Mannings because none of them ever went to LSU, Cooper or Eli or Peyton.
That seems so juvenile to have just to be mad at someone because they don't go to the school that you like covering. But that doesn't make any sense. Do you think a grown man would not care about something as dumb as that?
And I think that's why the tone was there.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Wow. How about that? You mentioned a second ago maybe the possibility of a Duthiero or Boogie Fland maybe returning in the NCAA tournament. I don't want to put you into this. Brett and I have had our questions about the injury to Boogie Fland. What do you know about those two injuries, and what do you think the possibilities are, especially a Duthiero, who's been fantastic down the stretch for Arkansas? What do you think about their availability for the NCAA tournament?
Brian, I don't know why I think this, but if there's I think there's more of a chance that Boogie plays than that Dew doesn't. I don't have any inside knowledge, but I don't know why I think that. I just do. But to me, it's like you only get to a second weekend. You might see him play, but I mean, I'd be shocked if we see them next week. To be honest.
I got you. Well, we'll see where Arkansas is heading on Selection Sunday, and we'll definitely talk with you again next Friday when all the madness is going on. Ty, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of conference tournament weekend.
Thanks, guys. Might be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or Lexington, Kentucky, but look forward to talking with you.
Well, that'd either be bad beer or good bourbon or good whiskey. Thank you, Ty.
Thanks, Ty.
See you guys.
Ty Richardson joining us from ESPN Arkansas. Talk the Razorbacks and the SEC.
This New Orleans-based reporter, a girlfriend of mine, and she's a big LSU person, and she does not have this sentiment, but raging debates with this guy. His theory is, why are the Mannings so loved in New Orleans? What have they ever done for us? You know, none of them stayed at home. Right. Archie didn't win. Does he not realize the offensive line in front of Archie Manning in those years?
I mean, I guess I understand the LSU a little bit, but I mean, Archie played for the Saints.
Yeah, beloved Saint.
Yeah, that's weird. I did not hear that question yesterday when it was asked, so I'm gonna have to find that somewhere and hear that, because that is. That's a wild question to ask a head coach, especially after a win.
2 years ago in that wild game in Oxford, down on the sideline late in the game, it was ridiculous how he was acting.
Wow. Yeah, I'll have to go.
Big fan.
Yeah, well,
Big fan. Big J journalist. Big fan.
Yeah, those big J's, they turn into big F's. Big fans. But we'll see. A little update on the SEC tournament in Nashville. Tennessee, a 10-point lead over Texas with about 3:28 left in the game. It looks like Tennessee will go on to win that game. And an update in the American tournament. Right now, Tulane up 59-54 over FAU with about 10.5 minutes left in that second half. Looks like Florida Atlantic's going to the line, try to cut into this lead. And so we'll keep you updated on who the Tigers could play tomorrow afternoon in the AAC semifinals. Let's go ahead and get to another break. When we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five-Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises. Owning your own home is wonderful, and buying your own home can be wonderfully easy. If your agent is Margie O'Neill of Remax Expert, Margie has over 20 years of experience in helping folks just like you find their new home. Buyer's market, seller's market, up and down markets, Margie has sold them all with a dedication that makes it easy for you to buy your new home. Margie O'Neill at Remax.net. That's MARGIE.ONEAL at Remax.net. Or call 901-685-6000 for your new home. Margie O'Neill makes it easy.
We are ready to meet anyone on your new Hyundai from Gossett Hyundai on the Pike during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Plus, you get America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Listen to this, Mid-South 2024 Hyundai Venue Limited. We Gossett 22,317. How about 2024 Hyundai Elantra Limited? We Gossett 24,997. 2025 Hyundai Elantra SEL Convenience 25,260. And 2024 Hyundai Sonata SEL Standard 26,353. This is what deals are made of at Gossett Hyundai 1870 Covington Pike. Online, HyundaiGossett.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
MSRP 25,160. Elantra RU 821,411. MSRP 28,780. Convenience SU 856,185. MSRP 27,020. Sonata RA 415,696. MSRP 29,110. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Get to the FedEx Forum tonight with the Grizzlies taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers at 7 p.m. on Women's Empowerment Night. Also celebrate faith and family with a special post-game conversation with soul surfer Bethany Hamilton. Get your tickets today at Grizzlies.com.
this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a mother pheasant plucker, I pluck mother pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Five-Ash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Sportstime on Sports 56 and 95.5.
Big Daddy. Hello, Big Brand.
It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy. The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
All right, Brett, my big number today is the number 42. How could it be anything other than the 42 points P.J. Haggerty scored earlier today against Wichita State, and you had to have him. I mean, it was really massive. He was huge. We talked about it a lot, but
and they had to know he was coming at
That's
them.
right. I mean, it was kind of, especially in the second half, it was get P.J. the ball and get out of the way. And Wichita State knew that was coming, but they could not stop him. And, it was him getting to the basket and making stuff happen, getting to the free throw line, 11 free throw attempts for him. But you look at some of those other guys, you look at the starters. Dane Danger, a nice game, 7 for 12, 18 points. But outside of that, Tyrese Hunter, 2 for 9 from the field. Colby Rogers, 0 for 5 from the field. Nicholas Jourdain, 0 for 3 from the field. You had a lot of guys in the starting lineup struggling. And so for PJ to have that type of game was huge. That tied him for the 5th most points scored in a Tiger basketball game. He is now tied with Kendrick Davis, Leslie Steele, and Elliot Perry for 42 points. And
the great Elliot Perry.
Yeah, the great Elliot Perry. And so we know Larry Finch leads the way with 48, and you mentioned it earlier. We got confirmation, the 42 points by P.J. Haggerty today, the most in postseason play by a Tiger.
Impressive. Just someday, and we will talk with Jason Munns about that and the prospect of him returning next year. My big number, it is 32. The Razorbacks are now 32-32 all-time in SEC tournament play. Only won it once. That was in 2000, now 25 years ago. Next year at tournament time, that'll be 26 years since they won it in Atlanta in 2000. And when they first joined the SEC, they really did for a few years, and everyone expected them to rival Kentucky year in and year out on painting the town, in the Razorbacks case, red, like they did dominate the Southwest Conference tournaments, mostly in Dallas, but sometimes in San Antonio and in Houston. And for the first few years with those teams, those prolific teams, they did. They haven't in a long time.
No, they have not.
They have not had crowds that great at any of them through the years, and all that. Well, losing in the tournament will cause you not to buy.
Yeah, no, I mean it.
And if you're real good, you buy for next week and the week beyond.
That's right, and that's kind of the thing, and you talk about some of the good crowds we're seeing in Nashville, and for some teams, it's very easy to get those good crowds. I mean, Kentucky and Tennessee, you're looking right now, it looks like a pretty good Tennessee crowd in Nashville. It should be. But there are a lot of people, especially for these higher seeds in the SEC tournament, they're going, well, we know we're going to the NCAA tournament. Why am I going to make a trip to Nashville when I can make a trip to Sweet 16 or Elite 8 or maybe even further?
A lot of Kentucky fans, they know this is the end of the run for them to be able to get tickets. So that's why they still look so forward to it, and the proximity of Lexington to Nashville. And the tournament's in Nashville. as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. I mean, some of those pictures of those Kentucky fans waiting outside to get in. I mean, just the entire right there in front of Bridgestone, it was just a sea of blue, and people taking pictures from windows and stuff like that. It was a good scene.
To think here in Memphis, we had it twice, 94 and 97, in that total dump of a building, the Pyramid, and have never had it in our showplace.
Yeah,
And from what I'm told by people that are active in that, the SEC quickly rebuffed any idea of having it here because of the lack of an adjoining convention center where they can have the fan experience stuff.
Sure, yeah, got to have all that stuff.
Yeah, how'd we ever live without that?
Well, that's
made it fine at Pyramid without it.
You got to have it. Times are changed, Brett. You got to have the fan experience. Keep engaged.
The Pyramid was very utilitarian, Spartan, basic from opening night. The first night I walked in, exterior, the architectural marvel.
Oh yeah,
and very awe-inspiring. Coming from Arkansas, and opening night for Tigers against DePaul in '91. Walked in. Is this it? Okay. Oh, okay. That's fine. But this is it, huh?
Yeah.
And that was it.
Well, now it's Bass Pro, so. Does better as
Have
Bass
you been
Pro.
in it as Bass Pro?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, multiple times. Yeah,
much better Bass Pro
it's
than it was in Arena.
It's a good Bass Pro. It's a really good Bass Pro. But yeah,
I have not been to Bass Pro during what you would call the Christmas season. They say it is the closest thing to my childhood experience at Enchanted Forest at Goldsmiths as you'll get.
I believe it. Yeah.
It's perfect for little people.
Oh yeah, I try to stay away from it around that time because of how packed it is. But especially that one. I mean, they got the fish in there, kind of swimming all around. It's cool.
And I intentionally when I've been twice and tried my best to get to what I thought would have been mid-court at the time at the Pyramid.
Yeah,
and could kind of still see and feel, but kind of not too.
Yeah, that was kind of the first time when I walked in there. I was like, I think I was with Melinda. I go, we used to play basketball games in here, and she was like, what? And I was like,
hosted, the two SEC, a bunch of Great Midwest, some Conference USA, I think. I know Great Midwest, no Metro, NCAA tournaments.
Yeah,
couple.
Wow. Yeah,
95, 97, 2001. Am I leaving one out? All those, in their first round, never ticket punching.
Did you ever go? Have you gone up to the top to the?
No, it never worked in the old days, and now that it does, I haven't.
Yeah, I was forced up there. I don't know if you know this about me, Brett. Me and heights do not do well together.
Saw the Stones there in '99 at Pyramid.
Really?
Opening act, Johnny Lang.
Okay, all right, yes. That sounds like a good time.
April of '99.
Oh man, that is good stuff. We're gonna get to a break here in a second, but before we do that, March is here, and we know all of the college basketball that's on television from really early in the day until late at night. And I got the perfect place to catch all the action. It's at Bell Tavern, located at 117 Barbaro Alley. Bell Tavern is the perfect bar for a night out with your friends or to catch a game. And it's not one of those loud, rowdy sports bars. Enjoy a night at Bell Tavern with one of their great cocktails in their quiet, dimly lit bar. And it's not just the drinks. Bell Tavern has the best bar food in Memphis. Pair one of their gourmet burgers with the coldest beer in the city for a perfect night out. For more information about our friends over at Bell Tavern, give them a call, 901-249-6580. That's 901-249-6580. Go online to belltavern.com. Well, let's get to another break, and when we return, we're talking Tiger basketball with Jason Munns. As always, Jason Munns presented by Jim's Place Grill. We're talking Tigers next.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Find us through KFA, K4, SEO 87.
7712, MSRP 25320, K5 S53 28285, MSRP 28455, Telluride SG 596204, MSRP 41060, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title and license with approved credit, dealer stock only, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 4/2/25.
Hey, I tracked down my buddy Jeff Allen over at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. Hey, what's up, brother?
We're ready to rock over here, Randy. 2025 Kia K4 LXS, $159 a month with class-leading torque and fuel efficiency. 2025 Kia K5 GT line, $199 a month. And a 2025 Kia Telluride S front-wheel drive with more power, larger cargo area, and more ground clearance than a Nissan Pathfinder, $398 a month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So if you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
That's Gossett Kia South, 2680 Mount Moriah, online anytime, KiaMountMoriah.com.
The first ever preseason pool spa and patio event is going on now at Family Leisure for the first time ever. With unbelievable savings. You want a pool? They're starting at just $19.99. How about a spa? They're starting at just $29.99. Patio furniture sets are starting at $7.99. Cold plunges and swim spas are just, well, I can't even say those prices. But I will say, they're priced to move. There are so many deals going on right now during the first ever preseason pool spa and patio event. You've got to come in and see the savings for yourself. But wait, there's more. You can register to win either a free pool, a spa, or a patio set. Yes, a free pool, spa, or patio set. Just stop by Family Leisure to sign up. This is a first time ever preseason pool, spa, patio event. It's going on right now at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Route 140. Family and fun come together.
You know, if I had a nickel for every time somebody has recognized me as the spokesperson for Central Barbecue.
One of the spokespersons.
One of the spokespeople. I wouldn't have a nickel because we do these for the radio. But I'm proud to be the spokesperson for Central Barbecue.
One of the...
You know what I mean? I'm proud because all of us who do this have had to do ads for things we didn't necessarily believe in.
Yeah, I know I have.
I know you have too.
Hey.
But we get to tell everyone about Central Barbecue, the best barbecue in Memphis.
In the world.
We are ready to meet anyone on your new Hyundai from Gossett Hyundai on the Pike during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Plus, you get America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Listen to this, Mid-South 2024 Hyundai Venue Limited. We Gossett 22,317. How about 2024 Hyundai Elantra Limited? We Gossett 24,997. 2025 Hyundai Elantra SEL Convenience 25,260. And 2024 Hyundai Sonata SEL Standard 26,353. This is what deals are made of at Gossett Hyundai 1870 Covington Pike. Online, HyundaiGossett.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
341,155, MSRP 25,160. Elantra RU 821,411, MSRP 28,780. Convenience SU 856,185, MSRP 27,020. Sonata RU 415,696, MSRP 29,110. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only. This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports56 traffic.
Good afternoon. They're putting out a pretty good car fire on 40 westbound. It's going to be right near Covington Pike before you get to Austin P. Highway. Again, 40 westbound on this car fire, getting some attention before Austin P. Highway. It's got traffic slow over here on this side of town as it builds 240 getting onto 385. Bill Morris Parkway going outbound. If your lawn needs a little bit of help, call Lawn Solutions right now at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with Dave Willotion, weekday mornings from 10 to 11. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jack Wireland Roller Club City once again.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure studios, and we got to talk some Tigers. Joining us now to talk Tigers.
Story day.
It is a big day. The Tiger basketball beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal, Jason Munns. He joins us as always, presented by Jim's Place Grill. in Collierville. Jason, thanks so much for joining us. It was a fun one. It was a game that Wichita State played really well in the first half, knocking down a ton of threes, something that they do not do, and it felt like Tigers kind of letting them shoot, especially early, kind of daring them to make those threes. What did you make of the first half, and then the way the Tigers, really P.J. Haggerty, rallied in that second half to secure that three-point win?
Yeah, well, I mean, Memphis kind of just let Wichita State hang around. I mean, honestly, at first, I think Wichita State led for like 15 minutes of the first half. They were really dictating things. But you know what? That was at the point, if Memphis let Wichita State hang around in the second half, Wichita State let Memphis hang around in the first half. And that I think is what, really, obviously it did not help Wichita State's cause today. But what also didn't help Wichita State's cause today was one P.J. Haggerty, who, so get this. So by now I'm sure you guys have let everyone know who's listening that he scored 42 points today. That is tied for the most points in a single game in AAC tournament history, which is one thing. It betters his career best, his previous career high, by a full 10 points. His previous career high was 32 points. It also propelled him from 11th place on Memphis's single season points. He was 11th coming into today with 658 points this season. He passed Elliot Perry, Larry Finch, Keith Lee, and David Jones. He now has 700 points this season, and he went all the way from 11th to 7th. If he scores, when he scores 30 more points, he will rocket all the way up to third place on the all-time single-season points list. He's 29 points behind Penny Hardaway right now, who's in third place on the single-season points list at Memphis, which is just kind of nuts to think about. That he is.
Jason, it is, and it will inspire the debate. I hope we don't have it, because I hope he returns, and they're going to marshal all their forces, and should, for him to return. And he is definitely worth it. Can't imagine this year without him, and want him back next year. But if he didn't, it would be in the debate. Now, the tournament would tell a lot. I think Derrick Rose is the greatest one-year player in Tiger basketball history. 1 year, one shot, go to the final game, shoulda, coulda, whatever. Second, I think, is Larry Keenan. Third, I think, is Tyreek. Already for 1 year, Haggerty's getting close to third.
You know what? Well, you know who's in second place on the single-season scoring list is a one-year Tiger wonder, Kendrick Davis. Now, to your point, it doesn't, like if you're talking about greatest one-year wonders in Memphis history, obviously they were one and done. The year that Kendrick Davis was here, they were one and done in the tournament. So he gets knocked for that. But I mean, like P.J. Haggerty again. Like, this is 2 days after he was named a second-team All-American by the Sporting News, and I think 3 days after he was named American Conference Player of the Year. Like, this was his first game since being named AAC Player of the Year, and all he does is go out and do something he's never done before, and something that only one other person in the history of this tournament has ever done before. By the way, that's former Louisville player Russ Smith put up 42 points in a semifinal win against Houston in 2014. So, yeah, like P.J. Haggerty is rapidly positioning himself. I mean, oh, by the way, 42 points today, also 9 rebounds.
Yeah.
Also 9 rebounds. And here's another crazy thing: 42 points, 0 made threes. All of his points either came at the free throw line or inside the arc. He was an artist at work today.
Sure was.
And he's getting close to at least being in the conversation. If he is to be just a one-year wonder, we'll see. I have my doubts that he'll be a one-year wonder at Memphis. I think he's probably, if I had to bet today, I think he's back next year. But But if we're talking about just single season performances by one player, he's rapidly entering, elbowing his way to the forefront of that conversation. We'll see what happens come tournament time. That's what really counts. But he's pretty special.
Next year, when he's back, we could be having a conversation as a player for 2-year players, him in a discussion with his head coach, Coach Penny Hardaway.
I was going to say, I think the conversation kind of begins and ends if you're talking about 2 years, strictly 2 years.
As a Tiger, I don't know what he's going to do in the NBA. Nobody else does either. I'm talking about as a Memphis Tiger.
Yeah, I think that conversation does begin and end with Penny. He took him to the Elite Eight 1 year, and I think to the NCAA tournament both years that Penny was on the court. Of course, he was in school 3 years.
Did Lorenzen just play 2 years, or did he play 3?
I have to go back and look.
Yeah,
that's a good question.
I hate asking open-ended questions like that. I'm paid to know. It was 2 or 3.
Okay, but no, that would be a lot of fun to debate that all next season. That would mean that PJ Haggerty is back, and that would be a lot of fun for a lot of people.
Yeah, it absolutely would be. When you look at PJ Haggerty and the possibility of him coming back, we also got the official word yesterday that PJ Carter will get another year. What's your feeling on him with that extra year available, if he'll take it and if he'll choose to play that extra year at the University of Memphis?
This is pure speculation. We haven't had a chance to talk to him or anybody, really in depth about it, and I'm not sure that anybody even knows yet at this point. I think everybody's got tunnel vision on this conference tournament, followed up by the NCAA tournament. So I don't think anybody's really thinking about that just yet. But every impression that I've ever been given prior to today is that he would probably take advantage of his extra year of eligibility, and that's not to say that he would return to Memphis and use it at Memphis, but I think the odds have to be in Memphis's favor for him to use it at Memphis next season. Now that's it's a two-way street. These things, like, just because a player wants to return doesn't necessarily always mean that the program sees that player as a fit next season. But I think he's been a wonderful. He's been, by all accounts, he's been a great teammate this year. He has been a contributor, significant contributor, even though he's been off the bench exclusively. I see him, if he wants to return, if the team wants him to return, being a big part of that team next year.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels like it. You look at, we talk so much about being the PJ Haggerty game, 42 points. Dane Danger had a nice game, 18 points, 5 rebounds. But you look at the rest of those starters. Tyrese Hunter, 2 for 9. Now, he did have a massive 3 late in the game that was huge for the Tigers. But he was 2 for 9 from the field. Colby Rogers, 0 for 5 from the field. Nicholas Jourdain, 0 for 3 from the field. A lot of Tigers struggled today. They really needed that 42 from PJ.
Yeah, isn't it something that 2/5 of your starting lineup combined for 60 points and the other 3/5 combined for 8?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Tyrese did other things.
Mm-hmm.
He facilitated, he played defense, and
he's so good at that, doing multiple things even when the shot's not falling.
Yeah, and of course you mentioned the clutch 3-pointer. I think it was around the 3-minute mark or something like that.
Yeah, Bryant mentioned that shot earlier. He hit a big one.
Yeah, and then even later than that, I think it's under a minute, they send him to the free throw line and he knocks down a couple of clutch free throws for him. So, it just, and Nick Jourdain too. He had a big block late in the game, and he does other things. He rebounds well. And gives you hustle and energy and defense and all that stuff. And but I don't know. I genuinely, this is now 3 games for Colby Rogers against his former team. He has scored combined in these 3 games against Wichita State this season, 9 points in 3 games. And this is a guy who is, I believe, your fourth leading scorer, with, I think, 11 points a game. So I don't know if it's just a mental thing for Colby against Wichita State or if it's a matchup thing. But clearly it's something. But no, I think, to me, when you've got a team like Memphis, they've won 27 games. When you have a game where pretty much you've really only got 2 players who are quote unquote on, that speaks to me more about this team than it does. Like, it doesn't worry me as much as it makes the team even more impressive that when nobody is on except for a couple of guys, they can still score 83 points and win. That's kind of how I look at it.
Jason, a really fine line for Coach Hardaway and staff and loyalists, boosters, fans that that just love the team so much. I understand being plenty irritated come Sunday afternoon at potential seed, but got to put that behind you and get ready to play ball next week. Do you see Coach Hardaway already starting in that mode of maybe tamping down the disgust and irritation, and we got to play ball?
Yes, that's, I think he said it it was either after the South Florida win or maybe earlier this week during availability with the media, that, that's what we're used to at Memphis. He really leans into that narrative that Memphis, is kind of always.
Well, he's not wrong.
Behind. Yeah, right. No, he's not. But Memphis is kind of always behind the 8 ball, and I want to say, I'm obviously having to paraphrase here, but he said that he almost would rather his team go into a game that way, behind the 8 ball, being disrespected or overlooked or whatever, than being the favorite. Like, we've seen ever since for the last 2.5 months what being the favorite means. It means that Memphis is going to be in a dogfight against teams that they should not be in dogfights against. So it does seem like if things don't materialize favorably for the Tigers on Selection Sunday, it seems like he's made peace with that and almost prefers it that way.
You look at the game that's going on right now, the winner will get Memphis tomorrow, FAU and Tulane, a tied game right now with only a couple minutes left in action. Give us a little bit of a preview for both sides, FAU and Tulane, a team that Memphis is undefeated against this season. How do you feel about either of these matchups?
So personally, I think Memphis, FAU is the better matchup for Memphis. Now the flip side of that argument is that Memphis has beaten them twice by pretty healthy margins both times. I think beat them by 28 in Boca Raton, and then I forget what the margin was in Memphis, but it was not close. And that's why I say it feels like a good matchup for Memphis. Now, also tomorrow, if it turns out to be FAU, tomorrow would be their 3rd game in 3 days. So, you kind of feel good about that if you're Memphis, I would think. Tulane, Memphis went on the road and beat the Green Wave earlier this season. I think they had to kind of pull away. Yeah, that was the game Colby Rogers got hot in the second half. And it was kind of close through the first half, and then Colby went off, and they kind of pulled away late. I just don't like the idea of having to go up against Ron Hunter, and that's nothing against John Jacobs, the FAU coach. I just think Ron Hunter is an extremely good coach, and I mean, not that I certainly think Memphis would win either game. Honestly, I mean, they're just they've kind of got that tunnel vision now that they have, and you got PJ Haggerty scoring 42 points now. I think they're in good position to win either of those two games, but I think the matchup to me favors FAU. Now, like I said before, if FAU suddenly grows wings because they got popped both times against Memphis and they're more motivated than they've ever been all season, then maybe that could potentially present some problems. But I don't see that.
I don't either. Jason, your coverage, you and Jonah doing such a good job for y'all. I mean, I know you're writing all the time, sidebars, every story you can do. The people want it. Take us inside of what we're going to see from end of the game Sunday, if it gets to Sunday. Where will they watch Selection Sunday? How are you going to cover it? And then getting back to Memphis and potentially getting back out on the road. What's in store for you and for the readers of the Commercial Appeal?
Well, if they get to Sunday, first of all, tip-off is at 2:15, and the way the setup is here at Dickies Arena, you've got, there's, the court, and then you go straight up the seating, and right behind a certain section of the seating, there is a room where it's, for the team to watch the selection show, and basically what happens is we'll just follow them into that room, and it's on this big projection screen, and they'll find out their destination at that point, and we'll react accordingly. We'll talk to them afterwards about it, and so that'll be how that goes if they get to Sunday. But yeah, as far as Jonah and I are concerned, I just published, I think, my third story since the game ended today, and he's published at least two, and he's about to publish his third once this
all by 5:30.
Oh yeah. We've also published a video and a photo gallery. I mean, we're grinding, as the kids say, because it's March and we sleep in May. So anyway, but yeah, if they get to Sunday, Jonah and I will work until probably 7 or 8 o'clock, and we'll hop in the car and drive about halfway back, and then drive the rest of the way Monday morning, and we'll figure it out from there. Who knows? We might be driving to Wichita, we might be driving to Lexington, or we might be flying to Denver or Milwaukee. We'll just have to wait and see.
You sure could. There's even Providence out there.
Yep. Providence, Cleveland is in the mix. Raleigh, I think Seattle. I don't want to have to go. I don't want Memphis fans to have to go very far. It would it would almost kind of be a letdown if it's Wichita for fans, simply because that's a conference city. It's a conference city. But you know what? At least to be able to drive there and you're familiar with it and you're familiar with the gym, that might give Memphis a leg up in a way. So anyway, it doesn't matter to me, though, where they go.
Regardless of where, I want Friday for the Tigers. I don't want to turn around and play Thursday.
Yes, especially because they have to play so late.
I mean, the NCAA can't be that cruel with this 3-card money they're going to pull on the seating, and then you play at 11:25 on Thursday somewhere.
Yeah, that would just be diabolical. But
I hope I didn't give them any ideas.
I don't know. We'll see. I still think there is a path for Memphis to be a 7 seed and possibly outside chance of a 6. Some things would have to break their way later today and tomorrow, but they haven't really gotten any breaks yesterday and the day before. And so, 1 or 2 here or there. Kansas lost yesterday. I think that could help them. But I think if they get to Sunday, they're still firmly in the mix of a 7. And if they win Sunday, I think they're definitely at least a 7.
I can't wait to see maybe the smirk of before he replies to you. Ask Coach Hardaway, does he realize right now everybody in Nashville, the SEC poobahs, are all pulling for him because they don't want any bid thieves out of the AAC?
You know what's so funny is we were talking about Jonah and myself earlier. Jonah actually wrote a story earlier today saying that
he sure did, yeah.
Yeah, saying that everybody in Chapel Hill, everybody in Austin, all these power conference teams, all these, you got a blue blood over in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, who is rooting extremely hard for Memphis to go on and finish this thing, win tomorrow and win Sunday, because, obviously they need all the help they can get just to get into the tournament. They don't need any bid thieves. But yeah, that would be very, very interesting to get his reaction to that question.
Yeah. Jason, real quick, they didn't really show it much on television. Did you see kind of the little dust-up at the very end of the game after the handshake line? Do you know what that was about?
Yeah, I mean, PJ was asked about it. PJ Haggerty was asked about it after the game. Apparently there was a moment where either PJ or PJ and others were, like, waving goodbye to Wichita State, and I don't know that sat quite well, very well.
Too bad
with the Shockers, but yeah, I mean, like PJ said after the game, they were doing a lot of talking when they beat us back on February 16th. We got our get back, so we had to talk back at them, and I mean, it's pretty much as simple as that. It was just like they talked a lot of stuff last month, and now it was time to repay the favor. And so, yeah, I didn't see it too much. Honestly, I was too busy watching PJ don the cowboy hat.
That's right. That was beautiful
on the court, and being interviewed by ESPN and by the AAC media people. It was a pretty cool scene for him and for Memphis.
Yeah, a whole lot of fun. It's going to be fun again tomorrow. Right now, Tulane, a 4-point lead over Florida Atlantic with 45 seconds left in this game. Jason, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again hopefully next Friday, unless I guess we'll wait and see when and where the Tigers are playing. As always, thanks, Jason.
All right, thanks, y'all.
Thank you so much, Jason Munns, on the road with the Commercial Appeal, covering all things Memphis Tigers. And he has joined us every Friday at 5 since the Friday before opening night. That would have been Friday the 1st of November.
Would have been yeah, you're right. Yeah, wow.
Friday the 1st of November.
Yeah. So,
I was in Fayetteville for Ole Miss, Arkansas that day.
You were. That feels like forever ago.
And this all has been presented all year by Jim's Place Grill. We appreciate them so much and appreciate Jason so much. At Jim's Place, over 100 years of charcoal grill steaks, over 100 years of family time, lasting great family memories, and those celebrations, the celebrations of a lifetime they've hosted. The Terrace family with their touch for our community with recipes that date back to the beginning in downtown to now in Collierville at the railroad tracks at Poplar and Houston Levee. Online at jimsplacegrill.com. Don't forget the E in grill. Every steak grilled perfectly over an open flame. Come to Jim's Place and taste and see and feel the difference. Lunch hours Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Dinner hours Monday through Saturday, 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. They've been there for a lot of March Madness fun since 1921, a Memphis landmark with hard work, values, and a dedication to their diners. The Terrace family, they've created that memorable dining experience. At lunch, the shrimp cocktail, crab cakes, the staple like the souffle ma, the salad dressings, all homemade. And at dinner, soup, seafood, calamari, and those steaks, fillets, ribeyes, and strips. And it's going strong right now in the bar area and will all weekend long at Jim's Place Grill in Collierville.
Well, it looks like Tulane's going to hold on here. They're at the free throw line for a pair with about 37 seconds left in this game. It'll be fun if Tulane does win this game. Ron Hunter, I think he's a good coach. I think he's hilarious. I know he doesn't sit well with a lot of people because of some of his antics, but I also like Dan Hurley, and I know he doesn't sit well with a lot of people. I think Ron Hunter's hilarious. I would love to see that matchup tomorrow because it feels like he gets a little over the top when he plays Memphis.
Nobody had more contempt for wearing a COVID mask than Ron Hunter.
That is true.
Nobody wore it worse. And since we're on the 5-year anniversary commemoration of it, on there, I want to do this right now.
Okay.
I was looking at it earlier today. I'm pulling out my stupid Vax card and tearing it into a million pieces on this 5-year anniversary of the dumbest period in American history.
You should keep it. It might be worth something one day.
Don't want it.
The history of that.
The stupidest period we ever lived in.
It was good noise there for the radio audience. Well, real quickly before we get to a break here, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor, Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City's been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984. And their talented team's ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, 2025 Range Rover Velar, and the 2025 Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to jaguarbluffcity.com, but head out there and test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince, for Bluff City Jaguar. Let's get to another break. When we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Sports 56.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wallow said hello.
Wally Hatchet serves breakfast all day and Southern comfort food for lunch. Hatchet fans love our huge omelet, breakfast Sammys, scrambles, and chicken and waffles. For lunch, check out the Mississippi pot roast, chicken fried steak, grilled meatloaf are one of our best-selling burgers, lipstick on a cow. Pickup, delivery, and catering are also available. Visit WallyHatchets.com to order online. Wally Hatchets is located at 6439 Summer Avenue and open from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Wally Hatchets. Count your blessings, not your calories.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 912715199.
You know, if I had a nickel for every time somebody has recognized me as the spokesperson for Central Barbecue.
One of the spokespersons.
One of the spokespeople. I wouldn't have a nickel because we do these for the radio. But I'm proud to be the spokesperson for Central Barbecue.
One of the...
You know what I mean? I'm proud because all of us who do this have had to do ads for things we didn't necessarily believe in.
Yeah, I know I have.
I know you have too.
Hey.
But we get to tell everyone about Central Barbecue, the best barbecue in Memphis.
In the world.
This rebel young is back. Online radio show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Nancy Porter with 24/7 Sports. Your Ole Miss defensive captain Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC sports film, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Garvey from kickoff every throw to extra innings. Your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Young Online Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Sports56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's busy on all the major outbound routes. It's increased with that volume on 40 West from Sycamore View Road all the way out past Germantown Parkway as it increases with that traffic volume going outbound on Sam Cooper, especially there around Perkins. Headed south of Memphis, that's on the increase with a little bit of volume, more so in the last few minutes on 55 down through South Haven. If your yard needs a little bit of help, call Lawn Solutions with over 30 years experience. Lawn Solutions, number is 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we got less than 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending, a handful of things to talk about.
I feel like we've shorted everything today, but it's time of year.
I mean, it's that time of year. It's this, it's Tiger basketball time, especially with that win coming on right after it. It's hard. Some breaking news coming out of the NFL. I do want to get some Grizzlies because they're in action tonight against the Cavaliers. But breaking news coming out of the NFL, former Super Bowl MVP Cooper Kupp has signed with the Seattle Seahawks. So, Kupp with Seattle, and they got their quarterback up there. They now have a receiver, and so maybe Seattle trying to build something. I don't know. I mean, they've got a young head coach who is an offensive whiz kid.
Letting go of DK.
I mean, you
got to give to get, though.
Yeah, I guess so. And I mean, DK, he wasn't really happy there and asked for a trade, and so let him go. And I guess you can get a guy like
closer to a championship game, either NFC or AFC, Seattle or Pittsburgh?
I would say Pittsburgh because of that defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I mean, I think Landon has terrified me of Sam Darnold post Minnesota because I mean, I thought Landon was gonna be like, yeah, bring him to Tennessee, and he was like, I don't want a thing with him.
In Seattle, with young receivers.
Oh yeah. I mean, definitely. So I don't know.
Can Sam Darnold do that 2 years?
I just don't think. What do you think, Landon?
I don't know. The reason I didn't want him in Tennessee is right now I don't think anybody wants to be in Tennessee.
Yeah, they're not close enough.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But
you still
got
to take a few more lumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also with that, I strongly feel like he's a system QB. I don't know how well he's going to fit in with Seattle because he's been with the Jets, he's been with the Panthers, and did not really have great success with either of those. Then all of a sudden he has a breakout year this past year with the Vikings. It'll be interesting to see how he does with the Seahawks, but I don't think he would have fit in at all with the Titans.
Total guess by me. It feels like a little bit the Titans try to get the team stabilized, back on its feet, make a run for being good when they go in the new building.
I think so.
And they did that with Current Stadium. Made the move to Tennessee, in Memphis, at Vanderbilt, and first year at the new stadium.
That's a good point.
Music City Miracle.
That is
all the way to the Super Bowl.
That is a good point.
Well, I think so, too, because most of our signings right now have been one-year deals to kind of just pave the gap for this year. So I think next year is when we really start to try to piece stuff together.
Let's let them grow. Let's kind of build the
And honestly, I'd want to wait till next year because the QB draft class next year is loaded. But with how we're playing things right now, it looks like we're leaning towards Cam Ward. I still want Abdul Carter, but I'm not in the front of office.
No, you are not. Grizzlies tonight. They're taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. DeMichael Cole just put out probably about 30 minutes ago that Taylor Jenkins said that Jaren Jackson Jr. is I forgot the exact wordage he used, but is a legitimate game-time decision. True game-time decision is what Taylor Jenkins said. So we will not know anything about his availability really until about game time.
And I'm sure they want to make Cleveland, make them fret, worry, wonder who's going to be in there. And the Grizzlies back tomorrow night at FedEx Forum for Tony Allen. Day, night, festivities. retiring of number 9.
It's going to be a whole lot of fun tomorrow, and I hope it's a packed crowd. I have a feeling it's going to be a packed crowd. Talking about it yesterday and kind of just this energy growing around town. I think it was Pete Pranica yesterday that I heard say, there's not many places in professional sports where, especially in basketball, when you average 9.5 points per game, that you're getting your jersey retired. And I remember listening to a show in Miami that when the announcement came out that Tony Allen's jersey was going to be retired, they were all going, Tony Allen's getting a jersey retired?
And I can understand that,
Absolutely.
But they don't know.
Exactly, and that's kind of the thing of how special Tony Allen was to this team, to this city. And so I think, it's going to be a very special night because, when you say that, it can sound kind of, well, why in the world is Tony Allen getting his jersey retired? But I think that almost means more of you were so massive in what you did. You were so special to this team that despite the stats, we have to retire your jersey.
We just talked about one earlier, and Tony Allen played on much more successful teams than Archie Manning played on with the Saints.
Sure.
But if you know, you know.
Absolutely.
And I've always said about any retirement ceremony, any statue, that's everybody. That's their business. The Dallas Mavericks, they retired Brad Davis's number. Yeah. Brad Davis, great college guard at Maryland, but was there in the expansion, formative, get serious, make Reunion Arena come alive years for Dallas.
Yeah.
And this week, and I'm sorry that I didn't remark about it on Tuesday, or at least Wednesday, with the passing of Louisville Cardinal legend Junior Bridgman, passing away at 71. And as the reports go, they were at a pretty big charity event that he was attending in Louisville, where he is a king, and had that feeling.
Wow.
Told someone, "I'm having a heart attack," and was gone before he hit the ground. 71, which I don't think is old, and I think he was in good shape. The Louisville teams he played on, early Denny Crum teams, big games against the Tigers. They had another guy named Alan Murphy, and those two went at it. And the Tigers really should have gone to the Final Four in 72. Was Bridgman there in 72? I know he was there 74, 75, but that was the whole playoff game with Louisville at Vanderbilt that year that was one of the biggest sports robberies ever. I mean, right up there with the Soviet Union in the 72 Olympics against the United States. But Junior Bridgman, legendary player in the middle, and he was part of the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar trade from the Lakers to the Bucks. They have his number 2 retired. Yeah. Well, he's not in the Hall of Fame. There have been a lot better Milwaukee Bucks players, but he was critical to them at that time. And so if you know, you know.
Absolutely. And so no, tomorrow's going to be really special. It's going to be really fun. I know, even though the ceremony will be post game, kind of the whole night kind of centered around Tony Allen. I know obviously from Chicago, there will be a Chicago artist performing Lupe Fiasco at halftime. And then after the game, we'll have the celebration. This is another game that will be on.
You got any Lupe Fiasco on?
Oh, absolutely. I love Lupe Fiasco. Okay. I love Lupe Fiasco. I was a huge Lupe Fiasco.
Would it shock you that I don't have any?
No, it would not. Honestly, maybe the least surprising thing today is that you don't have any.
Well, let's go to artists. You want to play?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Here we go. Let me get to the music.
Landon doesn't know anything about this.
No, he doesn't. We're throwing it on him. Yeah. He never has. So, L, where would Lupe be on your L's? See, I got it by songs. What would be his first song in yours?
I don't even know. I don't know how much I have saved on my phone, because this would be since I really listened to it.
I can go to artists and what would be around if I had him. What would be around Lupe Fiasco?
Probably be in the L's, I would.
Okay, L-U. If I can get my alphabet right, I've got right before it. Can I say these letters? L, like.
Yeah. You can say that.
LMFAO.
Yeah, you can say that.
And right behind that, Lou Graham.
Okay. All right. Well, those are two completely different.
There was a time we couldn't say LMFAO.
No. But yeah, no. Times have changed. You can say that. If not, it's my fault. I guess we'll call that.
So you don't have a Lupe song ready?
I have a Lupe song. I can't play it. Okay. I can't do your.
You can't say those words.
No. I can't do what you like to do and put the phone up to the mic.
No.
I would have to save that.
I did that one day with Nelly and the St. Lunatics, and David Basham was
gotta be careful.
hitting top buttons and waving.
You got to be careful. You got to know what you're about to play.
Yeah.
You can't just fire it off. Real quickly here before we get to a break, it has gone final. Memphis will see Tulane tomorrow in the AAC semifinals. 83-76, the final score, a win for Tulane. You're not scared about Tulane, are you?
Not at all.
Okay, I'm not worried about them either. I think Memphis will be in the championship game on Sunday. Some other scores real quickly before we get to a break. Marquette out to an early 12-5 lead over St. John's. Maryland out to an 11-6 lead over Illinois. Some other games that have gone final. Wisconsin, an 86-70 win over UCLA. We talked about it. Tennessee with an 83-72 win over Texas, and then another game that I think we've mentioned today, but Michigan State, a 74-64 win over Oregon. We're getting ready. Duke and North Carolina about to get started here at 6 o'clock. It has been put out there. Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown, neither will play tonight in that game, so a couple injuries for Duke in the big one tonight against North Carolina. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day, and when we return, we will wrap up today's show with Crunch Time.
Sports56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. If I'm looking for some amazing deals on a new ride, where should I go, Marty McNeil?
You come see me at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
Well, that sounds like the right thing to do. What do you got out there at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown?
Randy, I've got 2025 Jetta SE at $269 a month.
Brand new 2025 Jetta SE, $269 a month. What else you got?
How about a new 2023 Taos SE, only $26,998.
Under $27,000 for a brand new Taos SE. That's awesome.
Plus all 2024 Volkswagen Atlas SELT edition and all 2024 Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport SELR lines, $5,000 off.
Well, I'm coming to see you at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7421 Chester Road. Online, GossettVWG.com. Ask for Marty McNeil.
And remember, the future is what you make of it.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Vargas. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in the 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. And she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from the Mediterranean diet to steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meat. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper is more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with the perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it. A beloved family affair is still going strong since 1948. Rendezvous.
Hey, Mid-South, get ready for your next adventure during the Mitsubishi Motors Spring Sales Event at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. Read Gossett. $199 a month or buy for $16,605. Gets 43 MPG. Need more room? Take your pick from 2024 Outlander plug-in hybrid PHEV or 2024 Outlander. Just $399 a month. And listen up, because all remaining new 2024 Gossett Mitsubishis are now $2,000 off MSRP. Plus, you always get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get ready for your next adventure during the Mitsubishi Motors Spring Sales Event at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
18605, PHEV, RZO 59821, MSRP 489, Outlander RZO 67325, MSRP 33210, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
You know, sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Winton Road.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about everything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its community and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
New showroom, less wait for service, and the greatest deals during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event at Gossett Hyundai South Mount Moriah. 2024 Hyundai Venue Limited, we Gossett 22,317. How about 2024 Hyundai Elantra Limited, we Gossett 24,997. 2025 Hyundai Elantra SEL Convenience 25,260. And 2024 Hyundai Sonata SEL Standard 26,353. Plus you get America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So don't miss the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event at Gossett Hyundai South, 2660 Mount Moriah. Online anytime, HyundaiMountMoriah.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
341,155, MSRP 25,160. Elantra RU 821,411, MSRP 28,780. Convenience SU 856,185, MSRP 27,020. Sonata RU 415,696, MSRP 29,110. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so
spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is that the Tigers will meet Tulane in the conference semifinals tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. The first and only meeting this year against Tulane was a win for the Tigers on the road, a 68-56 win, a game that was really close throughout. Tigers able to pull away from it at the end, and the name to watch for tomorrow, Rowan Brumball, the sophomore from Washington, D.C. that started his career at Georgetown before transferring down to Tulane. He's averaging 15.5 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, 4.8 assists per game, and shoots the three ball really well. In the only meeting against Memphis, he finished with 19.7 rebounds and 4 assists. Really gave the Tigers trouble early in the game. Kind of got a little out there late in the game, missing some shots. Finished 3 for 9 from 3, but I think Tigers in a good spot right now to be in the conference championship on Sunday.
They sure are. I learned today lots of excuses coming from Razorback fans about John Calipari. It's always his fan base that makes those excuses. We know that. We did at Memphis. They did at Kentucky. And both of those fan bases, after he's gone, I guess all 7 fans at UMass the same way. Then they have a truth serum, and it's good riddance. He gets tight in these March games, and we've seen it at Kentucky, and we're going to see it with him at Arkansas. Everyone is right about him. In late game situations, he comes up short.
Yeah, well, I have not seen that, but it could only one way it gets worse, Brett, and that's with a first-round exit that we've seen a lot.
I hear them talking about how he kind of saved the year. All he did is put out the fire that he started.
That's right.
It was his team.
Yeah. It has been his team, and came in and said day one, there's no players here, so we got to go out. So it's absolutely all his team.
Highest NIL in the league.
That's right. Brett, what I could have done without him just seeing this story, so forgive me for not having all of the details, but the UFL is being sued. How about that? The United Football League Players Association files unfair labor practice charges against the league.
Better be real careful. It's a good way not to have a job.
That is...
WNBA's kind of going through that, too.
That is true. I'll just read this first paragraph. The United Football Players Association, the Players Union of the United Football League, has filed unfair labor practice charges against the UFL. The charges come 2 weeks before the season is set to begin. I did not know this. And amid ongoing collective bargaining negotiations between the entities. So...
Collective bargaining in the UFL?
Brett?
Be real careful.
We're only a couple weeks away from the season.
Yeah. That's how you have no league and no job.
That's right. That's scary.
What I could have done without a great tournament unfolding at Ponte Vedra at a great course, the adjoining facilities I got to see and enjoy so much at the Gator Bowl. Gorgeous, but I hadn't watched a shot.
I haven't either.
I'm going to try to watch some this week, and I hadn't brought it up any this week. Have you heard the story about the Texas golfer heckling Rory McIlroy
I saw
at the practice round?
I saw the video of
Here's some good life advice. No matter how elite you are as a college golfer, if you're standing behind the ropes, don't be heckling somebody. You'll be lucky that you make 3% of what he made in his career.
Yeah. Know your lane. Know your lane. Where are you beaming tonight?
I want to go to the committee room, and I think I know what I'm going to see. I think I'm going to see a bunch of inflated resumes and egos really not doing a lot.
Yeah, I think you're right. Beam me to this Duke-North Carolina game. I think it's now interesting with a couple injuries for Duke, but we'll see how it all plays out. It's going to be a great weekend selection show Sunday night.
Bracket in hand
Monday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, the Grizzlies in action this weekend with a couple of games. But enjoy the weekend, and we'll talk to you again Monday afternoon.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Welcome to Fat Larry's in Bartlett. Come in today for award-winning